4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Shadwick.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind. This week we are doing Robocop.
No, that's the Roadhouse sound effect.
Sorry, I just got done editing Roadhouse. I got Roadhouse in the brain. Anyway, man, as you can see, we got a little extra member down there. We've got Mr. Gibbs, as you heard us reference several times on this podcast. Gibbs is our Robocop expert we're bringing in for this. Gibbs also guitarist for F&A, as we've referenced on this. Gibbs also played with me, with Matt Stevens, who also did our Booze of the Week thing. So Gibbs is kind of a big fucking deal. Gibbs, what's up, bro?
We'll give the man a hand.
Gibbles, gobbles, Gibbs.
What up,
Hey,
brother?
guys.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm really boozed up already, and
For those of you who don't know, Leaf was over an hour late, so here we are. Good fucking luck.
Good luck, everybody else!
Damn it, dude. Oh, man. How is that my fault that you're all sauce? Plus, no one would know. This is a podcast. No one gives a shit how late I was.
Hey, we're transparent as
Well,
fuck on this.
some
man.
of us give a shit.
We're
my liver
transparent
gives a
as
shit.
we're transparent as fuck, man. Leaf, man, you just got done celebrating your mom's birthday. Which
Happy
is pretty
birthday
cool.
to Mama Doc, dude. She is literally 72 years young. Unbelievable.
Respect.
Unbelievable.
Happy
dude.
birthday.
Your mom is an absolute saint. Love your mom. Everything else going good for you, man?
Man, fantastic.
Busy as
dude.
usual?
Busy as hell, man. Like, I had 50 things to fit in today. So, like, I'm glad just to be alive and here. So,
Nice.
It's been
Shadwick,
good.
man.
Man, so I'm going to start this episode with an apology, which is kind of out of character for me.
Absolutely.
I'm usually like Conor McGregor, but I've
Put on your pink panties.
your wife's in my
apologize.
DMs. Your wife's in my DMs.
apologize
You just killed
absolutely
me.
nobody.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Jesus Christ.
So I've been having to take these prescription pain pills for the shoulder, and they make me a little loopy. And I noticed last week on the podcast that the mental acuity wasn't quite there.
Damn, why you got to drop verbiage on us?
But tonight I've taken measures to try to counter that. So we'll see how it goes. But I should be like Biden on a debate stage tonight. It's full of testosterone and amphetamines.
Excellent work.
And-
Excellent.
And I may make a couple good points, but mostly still not there.
There it is. Hey, at least you know where you're at, and it's all about the self-realization. Gibbs, man, how's your week been? Anything else? I thought I gave you a pretty good introduction. You want to say anything else to Be Kind, Let's Rewind audience?
Yeah, it's been a good week. Other than like the whole family's been sick, but whatever.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? You're just living life. I will say
Hey,
this.
I'm floating right now.
Yeah, you did. And we'll get to why you're floating just shortly. I will say this. So I was driving to work this week, and pulling up on this car, and the license plate said Princess on it. Like they had the vanity license plate that said Princess. It was spelled out with like some fives and shit, whatever.
What a bitch.
So anyway, I pull up around, for the S's. But anyway, I pull up around, and I knew because we're in Chattanooga, we're in like the Tennessee, Georgia, North Georgia.
You knew it was going to be a dude.
Nope. I pull up around, and she was about a deuce and a half.
Oh, I'd say about a deuce and a half. Not bad.
And I wasn't disappointed, So just wanted to say that life is good, guys, and that'll take us over to
Get out of the street, you fucking
You get out of the street, you fucking bum. So I'll go ahead and start us off, guys. I'm right back to the Oscar Blues, the Tropic Mutant IPA. I fucking love it.
What keeps
and
you
as we
coming
know,
back to that, man?
it's the
It's
fucking,
it's an Alzheimer's. He doesn't remember that he's doing it every week.
it's the research that's gone into this. IPA prevents Alzheimer's. It's really bringing me back, man. And so I'm just doing my part, you know?
Yes.
So
Not the research, it's the results.
yeah, it's the results. We support the results.
I'm doing my
that prevents Alzheimer's. Yeah.
What you got, Leaf?
I'm drinking a little bit of delicious OCP, baby. That's right.
Nice.
The oatmeal coffee porter. You know what I'm saying? In honor of Robocop night. As my
Hell
wife
yeah,
got me that,
OCP.
dude. OCP,
It's
baby.
me and our
That's
partner's money, Porter.
So I'm drinking the king of beers tonight,
Oh,
Budweiser, Bud Heavy,
but heavy.
but I put it into a glass so I can separate myself from the trash. That
Dregs of society.
that, you know, people that eat straight out of the pizza box. But that's that's only acceptable with thin crust. I
Okay.
don't know why.
Yeah.
I can't explain. It just is.
I agree.
It's just is like there's only two genders. It's just a fact.
Just coming in hot. Coming in hot. Gibbs.
I mean,
Look,
I don't know. Like,
Just keep
Still
going.
going.
I'll let you. I want to hear where this goes.
I want to hear what this is.
Yeah, nobody interrupt him.
yeah.
So the edit is clean.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's only that's where you can use the phrase "follow the science" and not have bitter beer face. But I'm sorry. I'm rambling. Gibbs, what are you drinking?
A beer from a little microbrewery. You probably never heard of it. It's called Bud Light.
There it is.
I'm doing it straight from the can because fuck you.
Oh, we got some tension early on. I like it, dude. We're starting off hot. This is how it should be.
Well, I wanted to do the gender joke because I knew he was going to be drinking Bud Light.
Bud Light?
Nice. Set it up.
That's
Set it
because
up.
Coors Light's not paying him nothing.
That's very
That's why
true.
he's drinking
So now that we all
I
have
just don't want your morality in my fucking alcohol. That's all I'm saying.
Unfortunately, nobody's going to be getting up on our wives tonight because
Yeah.
we're starting an hour and 15 minutes late for some reason.
But this
you can
red
wake 'em
face
up.
is provided by Spicy Pickle Vodka.
dude. So
Sponsor our podcast.
Yeah, sponsor our podcast.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm gonna go ahead and just go around the horn, man. First time you guys remember seeing this, and I'll start because my unique story of RoboCop involves one of my heroes growing up, man. Sting was stuck in a cage, and then RoboCop comes on this pay-per-view and rips the cage door off, and he frees Sting. So Sting can go to the ring. Yes,
Was it the real
absolutely.
actor?
Yes, it was, and they were talking about like in all the behind the scenes shit I've like listened to and read. They were like, when he showed up, they're like, "God damn, this dude's short."
Was it Peter Weller or was it the guy from the third movie? Because they had
It was no. This was the guy from the first movie.
This is
Peter Weller.
So he was. They were like, he's short, and also like he's. You can tell by the contour of his face, not a big dude, and so like it's like 6'4", 6'5" Sting, like all these big monsters, and they're like, this guy's gonna rip. It was some TBS promotional thing, but that was my introduction to RoboCop.
Cop from the WCW. Did he shoot
So-
anybody's balls off in the ring?
Fuck no. That's why when I watched the real movie, I was like, God damn, why did he just shoot Ric Flair in the head then?
And
So,
put it into the pain.
Just end it there.
Well,
But
people didn't know that Ric Flair was one of the higher ups at OCP.
yeah,
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
It was against. It went against Directive number 4.
well, that makes sense.
The secret directive.
So Chadwick, what was your first memory, or where do you remember seeing this first?
I remember exactly where I saw it the first time because I didn't see the entire movie. So we had
What, like fucking?
when I was a kid, we actually had a house fire and we
On purpose?
Yes. We were having to stay in a. We were staying in a duplex while they rebuilt, and the guy that owned the place, he lived on the other side. He was a single dad. His son was a couple years older than me. So when I would get off the school bus, I would go and hang out with him for a little while. So when I got there, they'd already been watching it, and it was right at the part where Robocop goes back to the warehouse to arrest
Like when
Clarence.
When he's Murphy or when he's actually Robocop?
No, when he's Robocop.
Okay.
And so the first time I saw him was when he's like banging on the door.
Yeah.
You see the dust coming off the door, and it's like, each time he hits it, it's like
It's
caving in a little more.
Yeah,
a little more.
and he's knocking it off the hinges.
Yeah.
Badass introduction.
Yes.
Yes. So I thought that was the first appearance of him in the movie, and then I got to see that. I got to see the middle of the movie basically,
Right.
Because my parents got home, and when they found out that I was watching that over there, they got pissed.
What did they say, Leaf?
I believe one they could have been quoted as saying, "Shady no."
But yeah, I remember I didn't see the full movie for a while, so I thought for the longest that was the intro, and I still maintain the idea that maybe they should have changed some things around, and that should have been the intro.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty badass intro. Leaf, where do you remember RoboCop for the foist time?
As if it was yesterday in my friend Trey's basement, well, along with his father's collection of other rated R, yes, and mildly NC-17 movies that were video cassettes, baby. We got a hold of this one, and he was like, "You ever seen RoboCop?" And I was like, "Hell no." He was like, "You want to see some people get blown away and like some vaguely
like I want to see some people get blown."
I mean, yeah, we didn't have access to that stash, but we did have access to the violent stash of 80s action flicks, and that's where I saw it for the very first time, and was mildly traumatized at two scenes, which we'll go into later on, because I believe I was probably was it 1987?
Yeah. Jeez, dude.
I was
Gibbs,
young, dude.
where do you remember first seeing RoboCop?
I was either 5 or 6.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Perfect.
My parents.
Perfect.
And I know Leaf was just alluding to a similar situation with me, but my parents were very odd. They were okay with me watching people getting decapitated and blown away, even at that young of an age. But you show a fucking booby, and they lose their goddamn mind. So they rented that movie.
No!
What they would do? What they would do is they would watch the movie, and then when we would watch the movie with them, so that they could tell us when to close our eyes.
Oh.
There was only one scene. There's only one scene where they tell me to close my eyes, and it's the booby scene.
Nice.
But they don't mind a 5 or 6 year old watching people get just blown freaking away,
Dude.
And I'm like looking back on it and rewatching it in my older years, I'm like, you barely see anything when it with the nudity. Like, why are you editing this? I'm fucked up because of you.
I don't even remember boobs in RoboCop.
There's one scene at the
scenes.
very beginning. There's two?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the club later on, like there's you.
I
whenever
must
he's
have
busting
missed.
Leon.
I must have missed
you gotta-
that.
You guys got to check out Mr. Skin. So, I do have one story before we dive into it. One of my friends at work named Jake, I reached out to him. This was like a real special movie to him. Him and his dad. So, like it was like his dad's favorite movie or whatever. So he said he remembers his dad actually taking him to like theaters, him and his brother, and he was like, I think he said he was like, I don't know, man, same thing as Gibbs, like 5 or 6 or something crazy to go see this movie. But it was like his dad just loved this fucking movie, and he would call his like him and his brother, they'd call him Robo 1 and Robo 2, like that was like their nicknames or whatever. So it's just like with movies like this, you don't realize, and how big of an effect it can have on people, like the positive memories and stuff or whatever that it gives to people. So just wanted to throw that out there. Shout out Jake.
It wasn't all titties and traumatizing violence. There was some
Absolutely.
good things, true, for a lot of people.
Well, all right, man.
Just not
so
me and
let's
Gibbs.
just
me and Gibbs never recovered.
I love this movie. I've seen it probably 1,000 fucking times, man. I can't get enough of
I do
it.
too, man.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wasn't like super into it until he rescued Sting, because Sting was the Four Horsemen were some sons of bitches, and they
Nobody, dude.
nobody
I can't even
dude.
believe it.
So anyway,
Knock it off.
let's just go ahead. Let's fucking get into it. Leaf, you got the synopsis. You got some boring ass
I
facts.
sure
Like,
do,
let's dive
man.
in, bro.
Robocop, of course, is a 1987 science fiction film directed by Paul Verhoeven and written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. It stars Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Ronnie Cox, and Kurtwood Smith, just to name a few. It's set in a crime-ridden Detroit in the near future, so normal-ass Detroit.
I don't want to slow you down here.
Oh, no.
I know you like to speed through your synopsis, but since you're naming cast members, can I just shout out the fact that Dick Jones was played by Ronnie Cox.
Let's get that out of the way, like early.
Can I?
Cox, Dicks.
Can I shout out? Can I also shout out the fact that the guys in fucking rich ass Hollywood and/or New York that are writing this, and they're like, "What is the worst fucking setting and place that you can think of for like this? The city's gone awry, whatever." And they're like, Detroit.
except
Detroit.
they actually filmed it in Dallas.
Well, yeah, they want to be safe.
Yeah, you don't want to actually be in Detroit.
They filmed it in
Detroit.
Dallas. They filmed it in Dallas because they had like modern architecture, so that it looked a little bit more futuristic. So like that was the reason they were filming it there.
Yeah.
Another under the table thing too. Dallas doesn't have the union laws that New York and California do.
Plus,
Cheaper
I've heard a
film in
rumor
those states.
that Debbie does Dallas. So
I've also heard Debbie is indeed there in Dallas.
Like I got
There's actually video evidence of that.
I just have envisioned like some interns like scouted all these locations in Detroit. I got you this. We could film this scene here. They're like, whoa! We're not going to Detroit.
have you seen the movie we're about to make?
We're not going there. All right, man. So
set in a crime-ridden Detroit in the near future, a cop named Alex Murphy is murdered by a gang of thugs. He is then revived, or even resurrected, some might say, by mega corporation Omni Consumer Products, aka OCP, as a cybernetic crime-fighting machine known as Robocop.
Whoa.
That's right.
Which almost caused this movie to not get made.
Really?
Because no studio wanted to buy the script based on the name alone.
And no director wanted to direct the movie because they didn't want that name on
You
there.
got to admit, if you erased your memory of anything about this, it sounds stupid as hell.
Stupid
It sounds like
name.
the stupidest idea for a movie ever.
You know, it's just sometimes they click, and sometimes it just works. That dude knew whether or not like I've been listening to Arnold's audiobook, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's audiobook, and listen to him like talk about the Hollywood behind the scenes stuff. Like, it's the one he released in 2012, but like even on like Total Recall and some of these other movies, like some of those guys,
which Verhoeven also directed.
So when he's talking about the titles of these movies and studios that want to change these, the guys that seem to be the most successful to just stick by their guns are like, no, this is what it is. Like, I know what I got, I know what it's going to be, and let's go forward.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, like this movie easily could have turned out to be crap. Like in a different director, we would be seeing Anaconda versus Boa versus RoboCop. Like it would be that kind of fucking crap.
Yeah,
like it just takes it took a brilliant director to
Gibbs. What was the what was the name? What was the name of the special effects guy?
Rob Bottin.
Yeah, so it's Verhoeven. Yeah. So he really stood his ground on the special effects too, from the costume design to especially the scene where they take the helmet off. The special effects guy wanted that to be in a darkly lit room because he was afraid that the light would show all the makeup.
Yeah,
and Verhoeven was like, no, our lighting guy can handle it. Yeah. And they got into it so bad. Did you say Bottin?
Yeah, Bob Boutin.
Yeah, Boutin. He wouldn't talk.
Aerotine?
He wouldn't talk to him for the rest of the production.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
Which
Wow.
it ended up turning out perfect because like it was so well lit that those makeup effects looked amazing. They still look incredible.
Yeah, look
Like,
at his
for that
fucking
scene.
cheeks in that. The contouring.
It's pretty impressive. It's impressive. It really does. But I mean, also the script is like super solid too.
Those
yeah.
lips.
Like if you go and actually look at the plot, like it's actually really good and like detailed, you know. And there's all kinds of betrayal and all. And so I mean, the script, in my opinion, is solid too.
It makes a lot of sense. It wraps around, you know, like there's a journey it takes you on. Like, you know, to me, the special effects are obviously like to me are what made this. Like you look now, you know, like look back at some of the you know, Ed 209 and kind of you can say
The stop motion animation may have
but back then back then, like even then though, like dude, the gore in this was fucking dope.
Yeah.
And still is dope.
Well, I mean, Bob Boutin, he's before this he made John Carpenter's The Thing, you know, which is just a gore fest, like absolutely disgusting movie.
Yeah,
I
thought that was Rick Baker for some reason.
That makes
Rick
a lot
Baker
of sense.
did.
I know he did American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
I thought
but
it was
Bob
Rick
Boutin did
James.
The Howling, which came out.
It was Rick James.
Bitch.
Rick James made "Fuck Your Couch."
He did. All right, Leaf, do you want to start walking us through this plot line there,
I
brother?
do, and this is another reason
you light it up there, brother.
This is another thing that like I love and I miss about 80s movies, dude. It's just out the gate, like instantaneously.
Yes.
You're put. They don't mess around with like setting up or cinematography. Which anytime I hear that from anyone, and they're all like, "Dude, the cinematography is great," I know the movie's just shit. Like that's the first thing someone mentions about a movie. Like, I'm like, all right, so the movie's fucking garbage. Like it's just a bunch of mountains.
You just turn around.
It's a La La Land.
You turn around and they're like, "Were you the guy that broke up with Brandy's Finning?" You're like,
just like immediately. It wastes zero time. Opening scene, like out of the gate, dude. You know, Orion logo, bam. Robocop in bold, futuristic 1980s print. Boom! You know what you're watching, dude. You go to the wrong theater, I can guarantee you. You know how it is in the theater, Chris.
Dude,
yes. You walk in the wrong theater, you know, and you're like, what movie is this? It's like, bam, Robocop. It's like, this is the wrong theater.
It's wrong theater, yeah.
And you're out. But if you're smart, you'd have stayed because the next scene is immediately hooks you in. It is the local satirical television news report that is pure satire, but actually looks like modern television nowadays. Nuclear war, riots, just
right.
Yeah.
And hey, that was Lisa Givens, right? From like, she's going to do Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah.
Was it really her?
Yeah.
I've got to stop and ask. I've got to stop and ask our resident expert Gibbs, just because I know how Gibbs is. How fucking mad do you get when you bring up RoboCop and someo's like,
I'd buy that for $1.
I just want to punch everybody when they do that?
Actually, I love Beasley Beside It. Like on Twitter, whenever I was back in the day when I was on Twitter, and it still might be there. If you made a quote from RoboCop, there was a bot that would reply to you as Bigsby Snyder saying, "I'll buy that for $1." And
that's awesome.
I would occasionally, just to cheer myself up, quote RoboCop just to get a tweet from him.
Nice.
I like that.
Damn, that's beautiful.
And what was it, Gibbs? That was actually based on something. It was an old satire. I can't remember. But the original quote was, "I'd buy that for $0.25."
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know what that is.
They had to adjust for inflation, I guess.
All right, man.
But
Sorry
yeah,
to derail. I had to ask because I know Gibbs. Like when for context, when the Will Ferrell cowbell skit came out, like the first time Gibbs saw it, he's like, "That's funny." And you're a big Blue Oyster Cult fan on top of that.
Yeah.
But then, like, anytime someone would mention Blue Oyster Cult, and they'd be like, "Yeah, more cowbell," Gibbs was like, "God fucking damn it!"
No,
like,
that one still gets me going. I hate that. It pisses me off.
You're ready to fucking fight somebody.
But the thing is, like, everybody knows more cowbell. Well, not a whole lot of people know the "I'll buy that for $1" thing. So, like, I don't get it that often. You know.
All right, that's cool.
That's true.
All right.
But yeah, the satire news thing was a result of Paul Verhoeven. He's from Holland, and when he came over to make that movie, that came from his experience watching American television. He was watching the news, and these people are smiling while they're giving like
terrible news and shit.
Whereas in Europe, they would just sit there and read the news straight up.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't have to be like, ha, 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 ha. It was just.
He was like, "I'm from Holland. Isn't that weird?"
But Gibbs is absolutely right, and that's one thing. Watching it again made me laugh. It's just like the commercials are so bad, like the heart transplant shit.
Here at the Family Heart Center, we feature the complete Jarvik line. Series 7 Sports Heart by Jensen. Yamaha, you pick the heart. Extended warranties, financing, qualifies for health tax credit. And remember, we care.
Yes,
you can pick your heart.
But you know what?
We're
We're almost there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we really do have like pharmaceutical companies now are like so involved with everything.
Pfizer is sponsoring
media,
comedic podcasts and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. Like the level of satire, but then at the same time, like you get all of these. Like it's funny that like Verhoeven noticed that immediately that there was an entertainment aspect to, and I think we're blind to it being probably, or at least to a certain
anybody would be blind to it if it's what you're raised on.
Yeah,
right?
You grew up with it.
As much as I disagree with that on principle, Pfizer, sponsor our podcast.
We'll take your dirty money. It's fine.
Give us your money.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite of the news breaks is they killed Ronald Reagan in one of the news breaks without actually saying his name.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God, they just killed the president.
He's like on the ground. You can't see his, you can't like he's dead. You see his body and they're like doing CPR on him. You can't see his face. They're just like, that's another thing. One of the news stories.
This is the standing president that they just killed.
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
The very first one, they say that the Kurt president is like on the International Space Station, and he's supposed to be giving a speech. On the Star Wars space station is what they called it. And then he said, but there was a little mishap because he got ill, I guess, like being in outer space. And you just hear this guy be like, "Oh God," and like he's getting sick. And he's still like floating towards like this hallway or whatever. I was like, every commercial was so fucking funny, man.
Dude, it was.
You got the Yamaha heart.
Yes, you choose your own heart.
Like again, like I'll probably keep referencing this for a lot of the episode just because it's been recent. But the Arnold book, he talked about comedy breaking up action and he's right. Like when you get like this action, this drama, and all this stuff, and then you have like that little comedic relief, like it resets you, and then like you can keep going. So these like little cuts were fucking perfect for that. Like it really, gave you that little and they did them pretty clever too. Like where sometimes they would like later we'll get to it, but it's like in the store window or it's whatever. Like you can find ways to interject that comedic value in here. Like I appreciate that about them.
They do, and ironically, you kind of get semi-introduced with the mega corporation that sort of runs throughout this entire film, the OCP. They talk about it. So in between all the funny commercials and the news, this fake news stories, you kind of get a little bit about the plot. It's kind of lightly seasoned in there.
Yeah,
it talks about OCP basically. You find out that the Omni Consumer Products OCP Corporation has entered into a contract to take over and fund and run the Detroit local police department, right? And they're kind of like this shadowy BlackRock military weaponry company that has their fingers in all kinds of shady shit. And
which was another dig at Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, right. Like talking about I guess in my opinion, Gibbs can correct me. It kind of made me think that Verhoeven was basically warning of the privatization of police departments, right? Like
that's exactly right.
That's kind of what this was saying. It's like, hey, what happens if corporations take over the police, right? Which a lot of people even call for this very day. I've actually heard people should be we should just have private security. We should have corporations running, the police department and stuff like that. Yeah. And Verhoeven's, basic premise was just okay, let's explore what this would look like. And
well, the problem. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Will it lower my property taxes?
No.
Did you watch RoboCop? I mean,
Well, I know that
the problem with privatization of anything is like whenever you take a government service that's supposed to help people and give it to a corporation, they're no longer caring about the people and how it affects them. They're caring about profit, and so they'll make cuts. They'll do shit that ruins everybody's lives.
And I think
and
like I have a direct quote from like Ronald Reagan was asked about this movie, and he said, "There's two things that he hates in life. It's people that are intolerant of other people's culture." And the Dutch.
Interesting choice for Verhoeven. Interesting choice.
Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird? So, all right, man.
And Reagan's like, "Oh, you're not actually going to be eating that, are you?" "Oh, you are."
Oh, you
That's
are.
gross.
Yes. Save me from myself.
So immediately after that, after the news break ends, we're rocketed to what would appear to be downtown Detroit. In a police I believe it's the Metro West, I believe it. So there's this divided into different precincts, and you automatically see Murphy, and he's like a new transfer, like a brand new or rookie in this particular area of Detroit.
We've talked about this on the podcast before. I fucking love the new guy plot of introducing you like as the avenue to introduce you to what's going on and what everybody is, you know.
Yes.
New guy coming in, like he's meeting everybody. So guess what, audience? You're meeting everybody. So
it's perfect. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's perfect.
So I picked up on this on my rewatch. OCP was actually, they were transferring cops from areas with less crime into this old Detroit in hopes that those good cops, they would get injured or killed so that they could use them in the Robocop program.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
They were transferred.
Nefarious.
Right. And they wanted to we'll find out here in a minute more about their evil plans, but I have no doubt that was probably part of it. Alex Murphy transfers in from Metro South, which like Shadwick says is a more peaceful kind of area, because as soon as he gets there, like the other more jaded cops in this particular precinct are like, "Welcome to hell."
Yeah.
Even the chief's like, "We work here, Murphy."
Yeah.
Like the fat guy that wants them to fucking strike. The little guy with the beer gut that I was like, "I'm almost there, buddy." Yeah. Like a couple more of these tropic mutants, sponsor our podcast, and I'll be there, buddy.
And so this is an anecdote from me, but I personally can't tell if the actor has just been typecast in my mind as RoboCop, or he actually just looks like an android. That dude's face, Peter Weller, looks like he is uncanny valley face.
Well, you know, he got the part because he's so skinny. Like
he looks weird, dude.
They wanted Michael Ironside at first, but he was too big.
And they considered Arnold Schwarzenegger for the same reason, but he was too big. They were like, "Man, imagine how big he would be in that suit whenever they put it on."
Dude, he would be because it was already fairly bulky. So, and also, I mean, who else could rescue Sting from the cage but Peter Weller?
Well,
like that came down to that's what came down.
That's actually where the director found him. Is Peter Weller was he had just got done eating and he was purging in the bathroom, and that's where the director found him to do this movie. So
the first time I met the director, he's like, "You got a little."
So Alex Murphy meets all of the jaded cops in the precinct. They're talking about striking. They're talking about getting murdered on the street. You find out from the one of the satirical news reports we mentioned earlier that one of the cops is dead or dying. And and the news guy's like, "Best of luck, brother." Like on surviving.
I know, like that one. Yeah. And then the fucking
they're in the locker room.
Tag remover.
Yes,
like dude, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just an old sad man now. But when I saw that again, like when I rewatched it, I was like, "Fuck!"
No,
like,
that was meant to.
You looked at everybody's face, and everybody just knew. Like they were like, and they were like, "Hey, like you know." We got to GoFundMe up for him, and I was like, "Wait, when was the movie filmed?"
That was meant to actually kind of shock you, in my opinion. It was meant to shock you out of, because there's some comedic stuff there in the beginning.
There's
It's almost like a buddy cop thing,
right?
It
did though.
It did. So the cop they mentioned in the movie, in the newsreel, he dies, and they're pulling his name off the locker. and they're like, "Hey, donations to his family." Like Chris said, the old school GoFundMe. Give it to
GoFundMe.
Cecil, the nerdiest cop. Like, dude looks like a Cecil, but it's a shocking
How is he
moment.
not dead?
How did he make it? He's it's a desk job. That's literally why. But that's a sobering moment because it's like this cop's dead, and they're just getting kind of murdered out there. This is a really rough area of town and precinct. So
yeah, for those that like want to compare it to anything, it would be like modern day Detroit.
Oh,
it's just Ann Lewis. He meets Ann Lewis's partner, a female, and she's already a badass and just beats a handcuffed suspect nearly to death with her bare fist.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say something about that real quick.
I bet that tastes good.
I mean, Ann Lewis is just this average bobbed haircutted like.
So previously she was known for like her like long like strawberry blonde hair, and Verhoeven was like, "Well, when did you cut your hair?"
Yeah.
So she actually had her hair cut that short
just for the movie,
just for the role.
Yeah, but she had it done herself. And then she's like, "Oh my god, I've cut my hair too short."
Well, no, like he asked her to cut it, and then it got cut, and then he was like, "No, you keep cutting it." Like, I wanted that short.
Wow.
It was on purpose because he didn't want there to be like any sort of like sexual tension or any sort of like romance in the movie. They didn't want. They
we gotta uglify you.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like,
well, but that's the thing, though. Like, she was known for like her skimpy outfits in previous movies, Dressed to Kill. Like, she wore like black lingerie and shit. So like they were like, "No, we gotta desexify you."
So so he meets Ann Lewis, man, and she's a badass. She beats a dude up, which is weird because women up to this point I'm taught in the 80s movies don't get any representation and only serve as eye candy. So weird, right? Like she's automatically
no respect.
Nobody said shit like that until like fucking 4 years ago, man. Fuck that
shit. I know. That's like one of the memes I like to constantly punch when we're talking about these older movies because women absolutely had legitimate representation since the beginning of cinema.
Up, man. Like it was
fucking. I hate going back to this all the time, but fucking Ripley in the Aliens movies.
We reference it all the time. Like I mean, in fucking Sarah Connor, like in Terminator 2 and all that shit. Like there's so many. Anyway, so I digress. I digress all the way to shit stuck in my head this week.
Hand over the milk money, Weaver.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Derek. I'm just not sure you'll spend it on milk.
And that was solely to get Gibbs to crack up on camera.
He didn't trust him to spend the money wisely. If he had, he'd have given him the milk money.
Give him the milk money, Weaver. Come on, man. Jeez. Sorry that Gibbs interrupted you, Leaf. Will you continue with the story?
You're forgiven. You're forgiven, Gibbs.
You.
Next time, give me fair warning. So we meet finally the faces of the evil OCP rich white dudes, basically, because they have a meeting at the head of their evil corporation, evidently in downtown Dallas, not Detroit.
Not Detroit. They were going to film there.
It's too dangerous. Far too dangerous. Yeah. They reveal their plan to replace Detroit City with a brand new city known as Delta City.
So I want to point out real quick. I think the old man, they never give him a name. I think Gibbs said that on the credits it says old man.
I think that's his name. Yeah, his character is Old Man.
So he's the the senior partner, senior director, whatever of OCP.
He's like a president of the
company. And he has a genuinely like moral idea to recreate this or create Delta City, basically on the bones of old Detroit.
Yeah. He's trying to renovate basically the city to something better.
So I don't think he was actually a bad guy. I think he had good intentions, but all of the underlings were just like cutthroat.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, it was kind of like stock market, right? Like they were
Yeah, makes
Biz-
sense. I mean,
business.
just any
Yeah, I mean, it's
corporate
like greedy,
setting.
slimy business people.
Yeah,
Typical.
it's
All of them are
cutthroat.
pieces of shit. Even the old man's a piece of shit in this movie. You know, every single one of them.
Yeah,
sucks.
they're
It's all about the bottom line. Like,
It's-
bottom line. No, you know.
yeah. He doesn't have any intentions of ill will, as far as we could tell. But he's part of like this machine and this evil like corporation. So they're gonna his grand idea is to renovate Detroit into this new place that he calls Delta City. But that is an interesting point you bring up, Shadwick, because there's this weird underlying sort of like battle in the corporation for who's going to replace the old man. And I don't actually talk a lot about that in my notes here. I do mention it later on, but yeah, there's like this weird who's going to be the new evil overlord of OCP when the old man retires, because he's sort of soft, which I wouldn't consider him soft necessarily, but
I heard that Bob messed with the wrong motherfucker.
we do find out that he indeed
He
did.
made a mistake.
Right.
And now it's time to erase that mistake.
So we meet numero uno bad guy Dick Jones, played by Ronnie Cox. That one's for you, Shadwick. and classic rich evil white guy in nearly every 80s movie I loved as a child. He was also in Total Recall. He was also in Beverly Hills Cop.
Hey, I want to point something out real quick. Speaking of usable music on Spotify, anybody can go and look up Gibby's guitar solo, and it's great to set as your alarm.
It'll wake you up.
Yeah,
you will no longer be asleep ever.
Yeah,
also,
I
wonderful
only
piece of music. I spent hours composing and
we were
recording.
there. Mine, Leaf, and Ronnie's laughter in the background of that. So
beautiful.
Oh, it really is great. So check that out.
Mundane. It's great.
I'm an artist.
Where are we at? So we're in the meeting room, right?
We're in the meeting room, and Dick Jones gives this sort of evil speech about, and we were talking about it a little bit earlier about privatizing the police, and he decides that he generally wants to replace, in part, if not entirely, the human police with a set of artificial intelligence murder robots designated ED-209.
And I think we actually have a clip with how that went. Hold on.
Okay, there's no way you could play this. You can play this on YouTube.
My parents said it was okay.
Have you guys noticed?
Jesus, dude.
The guy.
It's such beautiful fucking.
Hey, did you notice the guy at the controller? It shows him like trying to pull those cords. Like he pulls those cords like that, and then it cuts back to the blood splatting out. It looks like he just jacked.
I noticed that he was pulling cords on a goddamn Bluetooth wireless remote. That's what I realized he was doing.
Now, my assumption is that is the scene that Leaf was traumatized by, as well as me.
It is one of them. Yes, thank you.
Dude, that scene like blew my freaking mind. I was just like, "What just fucking happened here?"
So that one didn't bother me.
How did that not
we'll get
bother
to
you?
it.
When you were a kid, that didn't bother you?
That one didn't.
That guy was the only nice guy in the whole damn board.
He didn't deserve to die.
Well, remember, I wasn't 5 when I watched it. I was 10.
Well, and also
probably,
the fact that like when he drops the weapon and he's like everybody's freaking out, and then somebody's like, "Fuck you!" and pushes him out of the open so he can get wasted.
You're looking for help and nobody will help you. They want you away from them, and it's like, oh shit, I'm about to die, and this sucks. Like that is traumatizing.
Dude, he was fucking stealing those lighters.
There's some realism. There's some realism in the aftermath of that, because like the ED-209, it's sitting in the background and like smoke's coming out from the guns, and you just hear all these panicked people. You hear this guy going, "Don't touch him! Don't touch him!" Like,
oh yeah.
Leaf, what did you have in your notes, Leaf, about the paramedics?
Yeah.
So yeah, just to make a quick note, because I'm still shocked after I can't believe you just played that clip. We're gonna have to heavily censor that. Sorry, you guys could see it on your own on YouTube and pretty much anywhere.
You got a lot of growing up to do, pal.
I'll tell you that much.
It's ridiculous.
This is the ED-209s were basically walking armored machine guns instead of police officers. That's all they were. And so obviously ED-209 malfunctions and blows that guy and literally turns him into putty right before my 9-year-old eyes. That traumatizes the shit out of me.
And then they call for the paramedics.
They call so this is a couple of things. First of all, the head old man, the chairman, never unattaches his seat. He never stands up.
That's something I noticed too.
That is one of the most disturbing parts of it. Is like they show him and he's just like I'm very disappointed, and that's like his reaction. And I'm like,
and he's sitting there,
and that's what I'm saying. This guy's a piece of shit, just like everybody else.
Yeah, that guy's literally is smoldering goo, basically, and the guy's at his seat, and he's so mad. He's so mad, and like the first thing he says is not like there's an innocent dead man. He's like, this is gonna set us back like millions of dollars. That's his response.
He basically pulled a Tiger King, and he's like, I'll never financially recover from this.
Yes.
When someone's hand just got fucking eaten by a tiger.
And someone does yell, is someone going to call the damn paramedics?
Yeah.
Why? What is there to paramed? What is there to paramed after that, dude? The students
just have the janitor come in with a shovel and let's just move on with our day.
Dude. They're literally
the guy that played Mr. Kenny too. Like they had so many squibs. I think that's like a record for the most squibs on a person in a movie.
Dude, that was for that time. Like they upped the fucking violence in this movie. Like.
One of the fucking squibs went off and hit his nut, so he had to pretend to be dead. And Paul Verhoeven did not call cut for a long time, so for like 10 seconds after a nut exploded, he had to sit there and pretend like he was dead. And then whenever they called cut, he's like,
so much worse, dude.
So like this one was so bad though with blood. Like in one of my notes, like they actually. The one that we see now, probably on like HBO Max and shit like that, is a different cut from what it was in the theater because they had to cut some shit out to get it to rated R.
Yeah, no,
didn't they have to cut it?
Theater. Yeah,
Dwight.
Yeah, they cut Murphy's execution scene.
Oh yeah,
they cut that. I think they got 2 minutes out of that.
They butchered that scene.
They had. What was it? It was like 12 times they had to resubmit to make an R rating.
Yeah. So they cut so much, and you can find a lot of the deleted stuff, and they have an unrated version out there. But they cut so much.
It's right there. You can find it where you watch snuff films.
Yeah.
Why? That's all I'm saying.
It was a piece of art, man.
Also, shout out to ED-209. There was nothing but glass behind, and not one of those bullets landed in the glass behind this man. Everyone hit this dude, so maybe this piece of tech
and
bad after all.
With the right velocity that they stayed home. You know what I'm saying? Like the bullets didn't go through anything.
Yes. I will also say that they programmed him perfectly. They wanted a robot that could be a cop. And cops shoot unarmed people all the time, so he did what he was programmed for.
He actually is he's a standard police officer. You're right about that.
We was like, wait, this is what you guys do,
right?
What got me was ED-209's Jaguar growl. It was I don't know why they always disturb me.
It's messed up. It's intimidating. It's scary.
It's intimidating. Yeah. Well, you guys actually bring up a good point, and I used to think this too. I was like, how is this thing like a police officer? But then you find out, after the horrible accident, and a little bit later on, you find out that Dick was going to sell these to the military. So this idea, it was never really meant to be a police officer. Right. If there were casualties, who cares?
It was just a fucking killing weapon.
Yeah,
yes,
it was millions off of.
Yes,
he had a contract and like 25 years of parts and storage.
Yep.
Who cares if it doesn't work?
Yeah,
exactly. Like, who cares? Like, it was just meant to be a killing machine, which is what it was. And so it actually makes perfect sense in that respect. And so after the accident, right? After Ed 209 liquefies a dude with bullets, the backup plan from OCP is to go with a cyborg police officer program instead, known as, of course, Robocop.
Yeah. So don't gloss over the issue between Bob, who who had the idea for RoboCop.
Right.
He was trying to push that, or he was put in charge of the backup plan.
Yeah.
And he was trying to use it as leverage to get in good standing with the old man.
Yeah, and he was fucking
and push.
Good point.
And he
get
was
rid of
gloating.
Dick.
He's gloating in the bathroom, and then
Mhm.
So just a lesson to everybody now, all of our younger listeners. Always look under the stalls before you talk shit in a bathroom, because you never know who could be in
Always.
that stall.
Yeah, well, that's why whenever I go to a bathroom, I just start screaming uncontrollably.
I do too, but it's usually when I'm actually taking a shit, because I've got these
Because
hemorrhoids.
somebody is going to be
burn.
like, "Dude, are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's fucking Dick Jones."
Dude, Gibbs would have made this movie take a way different angle if he was in there.
So that is something I didn't mention. That's not in my notes. The feud is between Dick Jones and Bob Morton. Dick Jones is the one that wanted the ED-209s to take over the police department. Bob Morton, this ambitious younger than Dick upstart, was like, he was like, I've got a better idea. We'll actually take a real human being who will volunteer for the cybernetic program, volunteer, and we'll make him a cybernetic cop, and that'll be the future. So inside this evil organization are two evil younger evil upstarts than the main character, and those are the two. And so Shadwick, absolutely true. Dick Jones and Bob Morton forever at war until about the middle of the movie, when that war comes to a screeching end.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the next scene is, which is great, because I'm really glad we could be on this journey with Murphy, because I think this is his first assignment.
Yeah, this is
being transferred.
Yeah, so he gets transferred.
So first of many.
One.
Yeah,
they're
I
sitting
see a
around.
bright future for that kid. You know?
Me too, dude. Yeah, ain't nothing bad.
They used to call him Murder and Murdering Murphy.
Murphy partners up with Lewis.
Back to the police department. Yes,
they're out and they go out on assignment or whatever, and it shows them like they're having lunch, and Murphy's doing the cowboy, spinning his gun, putting it in his holster, and she kind of notices it, and he's like, "Oh, my kid watches this show, TJ Laser."
TJ Laser, dude.
Can you do that, Dad?
Yeah. His kid thinks every good cop should be able to do that, so he's practicing, and
his kid's
then they get the call for there's a bank robbery in progress, so they go and they're chasing you.
The
finally
robbers,
meet. You meet this gang led by Kurtwood Smith.
Yes,
his character Clarence Boddicker or Bonnicker.
Boddicker.
I believe, yeah.
Clarence Boddicker, and he is a great villain.
The best. He is amazing in this role. It's like it was made for him. He did a bunch of improv in this. Like a lot of the lines that you guys remember is shit that he just made up.
Yeah,
and he
I know that.
Yeah, like he the "Can you fly, Bobby?" Like he was the one that came up with that. He was just like, I want some cold-hearted shit to say,
So in that same scene, they're in this getaway van, right?
So they just robbed a bank, right? They got the bank fucking Brinks truck or whatever, and there they go.
But he's mad at one of the gang members, and guy's like, "What?" And he goes, "You burned all the fucking money."
Yeah.
And
it's just as good as marked.
Yeah, so he's pissed about that, and then the cops show up behind him, and I noticed this last night. It cracked me up. He goes up to the driver, and I can't remember what he yells at him, but he hits the driver, and then he kicks him. It's almost cartoonish.
Because he tells them
he's so mad. It's like Yosemite Sam. He's kicking and screaming.
He's always asking unreasonable shit. So he tells so first of all, he's mad at the guy for burning the money, but the guy's job was to blow the safe open.
Exactly.
Money got burned, and he's like, "You fucking idiot!" He was like, that was his job. And then so he moves to the driver. It was like, after the cops are following, was like, "Get us out of here." Dude's like, "I'm in a fucking truck. I can't run a cop car." And he kicks him, dude.
He's mad. Yeah.
He's such an
I mean,
ass.
this is a good.
And it's so much more believable than Patrick Swayze's kicks.
But this,
they were real. Like Paul McCrane was like he was kicking him, and he was pissed off that he kept kicking him. He was like, David, why are you doing this?
But that's kind of what I like about this, though, is it really shows the growth of the character because he really grows up later on in life, and then he goes on to. He goes on. The first ever spit take on Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
You got it, bro. How the
let me finish the joke.
Now.
So he goes on to be a dad on that 70s show where he really shows that he can change, and that's what I'm appreciative about.
He's the same fucking guy. Come on.
He's next door neighbors with old pillow tits.
Yeah.
How did he survive a fucking like a stab to the jugular? We'll never know, but I guess we'll talk about that soon enough.
It's fine.
And
He married Kitty. Kitty turned it around. So anyway,
let's tell you how kind of fucked up kid I was. Whenever I was a kid, like Clarence Boddicker, like I thought he was the hero of this fucking movie. I love this guy.
Well, he was the most charismatic for sure.
Oh, that explains a lot, Gibbs.
Yeah, thank you.
That explains a lot.
Hey, so you know he was cast partly because the director thought with his little glasses he looked like Gibbs. What was the guy's name? He led one of the Nazi
Heinrich Himmler or whatever.
There it is. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I know that he looked like him, but he kind of reminded him of him.
Yeah.
And he wanted, because nobody was going to match Robocop physically, he wanted someone that was like more cerebral.
Right, yeah, right. He looked smart with the glasses on, and so like he had this like intelligent menace behind him.
Fucking, I mean,
and he's
insanely great casting, and then also like Leaf in your notes, the casting out of one of his own henchmen to where
he's a psychopath. Like he is no.
This dude gets shot in the leg, and he's like, "Man, I fucking got shot in the leg," and then he's like, fly or whatever.
No, can you fly, Bobby?
Can you fly? But yeah, and he's like, no, like, throw him out,
toss him like onto the front of the cop car with Murphy and Annie.
And so then like Murphy and Annie, they stop their cop car and they're like, oh shit, this guy's injured.
He hits the windshield, but it's not a far fall to think that he survived.
So then they stop the cop car, they get out, and they're going to call the paramedics. And then, oh, wait, no. They just keep fucking going and leave a guy dead in the road.
There's
no way. He just took a back bump through fucking a windshield.
Hey, if he's dead, the emergency's over, man. Like,
we don't know he's dead. Nobody checks on him, dude. This is what it's like in the mean streets of Detroit.
They put on their windshield wipers and just knocked him off the fucking thing. And he
just falls off.
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah, it is. And then this is what Leaf, I believe this is what leads us to the they get to the warehouse or whatever.
They pursue the bad guys.
And they're actually aren't they ordered to hold back because they don't have any backup, right?
No, they just say there's no backup coming.
Okay,
so you're on your own, bitches.
Okay,
which I think was probably OCP doing that too.
Yeah.
Potentially, that's a good point. So he
Plus,
actually
the dumbest fucking thing that they do is like, hey, let's split up.
Well, he leaves it up to his partner. They're in the car. He's like, and Alex is like, "What do you want to do?"
What I mean. Like,
and Lewis is like, his partner's like, "Let's fucking go." And so he leaves it up to her. And they strap in and strap on, and they head into the.
Did you say strap in or strap on?
So they head into the abandoned warehouse,
and that decision right there set women back so far in the police force.
Here's something that they never really discussed. She's probably the worst partner ever because she's got a new partner for a reason. Like he was that night in the movie.
Yeah.
She keeps letting me like, no, for real, let's split up again. It was gonna work out this time, and they keep on dying, you know.
She said last time it was fine.
But this time it's different. The guy doesn't die.
They're in the warehouse and she's off and she encounters one of the villains relieving himself.
Yeah, one of the thugs.
If I could correct one line in this movie, it would be if he just turned around and said,
Excuse me while I whip this out.
You know, it's funny. Like, so he's. I don't even know if he was actually really pissing, or if he was just doing it like to catch her off guard. But like, she's got the gun. She's got the gun. She's looking like straight in the face, and he's like,
"Mind if I zip this up?"
And she just cannot fight the urge to look at that big black cock.
But I would have done the same thing though. I would have been like, "Oh, I wouldn't have." That guy's mom was there visiting that day, so he got to see.
Hold on, I gotta say something though. Hold up, because I want to answer Shadwick's question. You guys got to go back and watch this. If you didn't see it, you got to go back and watch this. He is actually pissing because you can see the stream of piss. And hold on,
okay.
When she yells, "Hold it" or "freeze," or whatever she says, the stream stops.
Oh,
I can't stop. It stings.
And black dicks are built different because the stream. She's like, "Freeze!" It's like.
Black dicks are built different.
She'd have to shoot.
Black dicks are definitely built different.
Because it keeps going, it immediately stops. And I saw this today, and I was fucking dying laughing. And I thought one of y'all was going to bring that up because I was like, notice as soon as she says freeze, the stream of piss instantly ends.
Also, I love him too because he was the classic '80s henchman. That's
oh yeah,
like the fucking psycho laugh. Like just
I took a rap.
Yeah, like so
she
forced.
was
Yeah, like so forced. So just I love it. Like that dude played it perfect. Like
dude
it was
was
great.
amazing. And
yeah,
like
absolutely.
that was like all of the guys got to do like their own thing. They got to make their characters the way they are.
Yeah,
which
man.
is the great thing about that director is Paul Verhoeven just let them create them. They got to pick out their own hairstyles, their own clothing.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking awesome.
And so like the laugh thing was his thing. He was like, I want something that stands out that's gonna be me, and he came up with that laugh, and it kills, man. Every single time he laughs, I'm like, I want to be his friend.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, I want to beat his ass, but like,
he will make it feel funny.
But it cuts to Murphy. He's got the drop on one of the henchmen named Emil, and he gives the line, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
and
badass.
And then it turns out all the other guys have him surrounded, and that this scene is the one that was disturbing to me.
They mercifully kill him without.
Yeah,
that first fucking hand shot.
Oh yeah, disturbing.
Like where it yeah, dude. And there's the build up with that, and then it's slow motion. The hand, I don't know how they fucking cut that. I guess that was a fake arm with the
it was
squib on the end, or if he had it tucked back. But like,
this is
his agony on his fucking face.
That's what fucked me up.
Explosion on the yes, because that's fucking real, man.
Yeah,
like you could see the pain. Like as much as like I'm sure like critics are like, oh, it's just an action movie, and actually I'm gonna go fuck myself, and but like
that's what they sound like.
That is fucking cinema. Like, you see the facial expression,
the
explosion, the slow motion where it like really slows it down for your brain, and like,
that
scene is fucking.
So the main bad guy blows off RoboCop's hand. For those of you who don't know, I don't know if he said it that clearly, and RoboCop clearly goes into shock. You can see it on his face. People die of shock. He's like, and there's just this moment where there's no music, as far as I can remember. I can't remember anything. He's just giving this scream that is just so visceral, and it's like, what the fuck am I watching? This man's arm.
And they just keep shooting him, and they keep blowing shit up on him. And
so I got a question: were they shooting him in the body, or were they shooting his arms off? Because he stands there and like
he ends up losing his entire arm, and then like he's just absolutely getting dismembered by this.
Yeah, they're hitting him everywhere.
Making him suffer.
Except
shotguns blast from that close of range and that many is just amazing.
They never hit him in the head. They never hit him in the head until the last final bullet from our ultimate evil villain. Clarence Boddicker, he shoots him in the head to finish him off, right? Like that's
yeah. Which like the original cut of that was so much more visceral. Just
I've got to
disturbing.
find that. Yeah, I've got to find the original.
And
I can't even imagine.
That's another thing. Like they had a dummy for a lot of that too. That would look so real that you can't tell the difference between Peter Weller and the dummy. And
he's sitting on his knees, he's screaming, you see his arm, one of it like get blown completely off. It's like his pieces
wild, right?
are flying off, man.
And
He's just getting shot.
And the dude with the dong that can turn off pee has a great line that he improvised. Does it hurt? Does it hurt?
Yeah.
Like they're having so much fun with it. So like the fact that they're having so much fun with it is so disturbing as well. It's so beautiful.
I had that exact line in my notes too.
Real wrestling heel.
Dude, you hate him, dude. You want revenge for him, man.
Absolutely.
No,
and when
these are the awesomest guys in the world. I fucking love them.
I got bad news for you, Gibbs, but I'll let you find out later in the podcast.
Right,
Wait, what happened?
Shh.
All right, so then it cuts to a paramedic team trying to save him, and it is an actual paramedic team. They weren't actors. So all the stuff they're doing, my wife, she worked in ER for years, and she was telling me that you can tell that it was real. One, from the things that they were saying, but also how they were calm. Like, she said a lot of times you'll see like actors will be like
flipping
panicked,
out. Yeah.
But she's like it really is like that.
Well, it's
you know what? I never really noticed that. That's crazy.
That's smart. Like, I mean, because you got to be calm, and you're trained for that, right? So
that's your job somehow.
Look at that. Look at that diversity that we have in Be Kind. Let's Rewind. We have angles from everywhere, bro.
That's absolutely
like
true.
And subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Just for the love of God. We're at the scene where Robocop Murphy is becoming murdered, right? Like, and Shadwick said, there's a paramedic scene which is completely realistic according to his experience, and it seemed like that to me too, because it was pretty impressive. Like they're trying to save him. Unfortunately, they should have just brought the body back instead of the paramedics, because he's just absolutely Swiss cheese, folks.
So it's clever though the way they do this here, because you see him on the table, you're trying to revive him, whatever, and then it goes black, and you hear them saying, "All right, let's call it."
Yeah,
and then from the blackness, you see from Murphy, or I guess it's now Robocop, you see from his point of view, like the lights come back on, and you can see
you can see
the engineers working on him.
Yeah, he opens his eyes, and you're playing Sega CD at this point. That's what it looks like.
Yes.
It looks 100% like Sega CD.
It's like Silver Shark.
I was like, God damn, fuck this game. And then I stopped watching the movie, so I don't know what happened with the rest of it. So you guys are gonna have to help me.
So we get this
the game lives
montage.
happily ever after.
Yeah, that's just Gibbs's version, the rewrite.
Yeah.
So they were treated to this montage of basically him becoming Robocop. As you stated, there is an 80s special effects where they're adding to Robocop and changing his programming and doing surgeries. There's even a horrific part where the doctors are like, "Hey, we were able to actually save his left arm," and Bob, one of the second in command OCP guys, like, "We said we were going to go full cybernetics, cut off the arm," and you're all "Oh no, his arm is still like he still has an arm."
That fucked with me too when I rewatched it.
It's like taking away a horse's cock.
It's all he's got.
It's all he's got. It is. And so, they're like, all right, we're going to cut off the arm, like prepping for surgery. And so, again, it's just cutting on and off as his memories sort of being turned on and off. And then
there's a little scene, again, from his point of view, where they've got a sample of the arm, and they're saying that everything is titanium with that's laminated with Kevlar.
Yeah.
And Bob goes to shake its hand, and it sounds like it's like crushing his hand.
Yeah.
And then he looks like straight into the Robocop's face, like, "You're gonna be a bad motherfucker."
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
this is that guy.
We'll find out.
He's dead.
He actually died of throat
in real
cancer.
life, he's dead.
Yeah, he died of throat cancer,
yeah.
sadly, but not in this movie. He died in a much cooler way in this movie.
Was it from eating Catherine Zeta-Jones' pussy?
Yeah, that happened.
Jesus. Damn dancing Christ.
What? That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's the way I want to go out.
I mean, not to him, but I mean,
God willing, one of us will also go out the same way. So
Gilbert Godfrey talked with Norm about that.
About eating.
What was her husband's name? It was Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Douglas. He got throat cancer, and he said it was from eating her pussy.
He did
so
say
much.
that. That's true.
And that is a scientific
That's a true
fact.
story. So after basically we treated this montage of him, Murphy becoming RoboCop.
Forming, Murphy is no more.
He is no more. He is erased.
That we think.
Yes, we think. His memory has been erased. His parts have been like Cyberdyne-ized. Like he's just machine. They're controlling every aspect. They're implanting programming into his brain. Like they are basically creating, a cybernetic organism out of what was once a human being. He was declared dead, so technically, they even say it in one of the montages, they could do whatever they want with him, and they do.
You're using a lot of Terminator lingo here.
I'm
using a lot of
Cyberdyne technologies.
Speaking of
cybernetic organisms,
cyberdized.
You're
my
using a
TM.
lot of big words right now.
Okay, now, because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect.
watch your mouth.
Both of y'all.
What I do?
So evidently, when you join the police force, you sign a waiver that says if you're dead, you can be turned into a cyborg.
It's the OCP thing. Like, the company I work for, which will remain nameless, they basically say like my life is theirs. Like, if anything, if I invent something, they get to own it.
100%. And I'll say their name because I don't work for them anymore. When I worked for General Electric made me sound the same fucking thing. So if I had this idea, if I was like, dude, we'll do a podcast called Be Kind, Let's Rewind, and we fucking hit it big, they could legally come back and grab my shit. But I don't work for you anymore, so suck a fat dick.
And so that's part of the privatization crap is like they're just like, hey, we can do whatever the hell we want to. You guys signed a contract. Your body's ours.
Absolutely. They're like this guy died, but he had to be at work the next day.
And so they just cut off his dick and his arms and made him into a cyborg. Pretty much. That's what happened.
Creep.
So this is another shot, as Gibbs mentioned, at the privatization of.
If my dick was blown off, I wouldn't want to remember anything either.
We are very much aware of that.
Memories that only
when mine got blown off, I was okay with it.
So
what made me say that?
So here we are.
I have to pee sitting down now.
We can assume.
Actually, I do like having my dick blown off. Actually, think of it. If I can remember.
That's usable. Well, now we got 40 minutes of usable material.
So you ask yourself, be kind, let's rewind. When the fuck do we get to see RoboCop? The very next scene. The big reveal comes. OCP and their minions and Bob, the creator, number 2 at OCP, or even number 3, I guess you'd say, brings RoboCop back into the exact same precinct, and we're off and running. RoboCop then begins dispensing cybernetic justice all across the city. They recharge him. They tell us that he basically eats baby food now and nothing else somehow. No idea how he shits or pisses. It's just, details.
His body is working at maximum efficiency, where, like Dennis Reynolds on Always Sunny said, that he hasn't had a bowel movement in like 3 days. So his body was working at maximum efficiency. So, and that's good. So, and I will say though, like Shadwick, I'm really glad you brought up the what was his kid? His kids really liked Ranger Danger.
TJ
Laser.
No, but like, because like RoboCop does that, right? So it gives you a little fucking nod to like, he's still in there. And so like that's
so when he first arrives at the precinct, all the cops are like they run down this hall, like following him to see where he's going, and they take him into the gun range, and he's got this fucking like huge cannon.
Yeah,
like it's a
modified Beretta 93R. that like originally the gun that Mr. Kinney had was
the Desert Eagle.
The Desert Eagle. Originally, that's what they were going to have him because it was a new like 50 caliber freaking weapon,
Right.
big, shiny, beautiful. Love those things, but it looked tiny in his hands. So and he couldn't get his finger in the trigger guard, so they had to get a Beretta 93R, which had an extended trigger guard, so he could get his finger in there, and they just modified it. It's a 3-round burst, like kind of like an M16. It just
this looks
just let that sneeze or cough go, okay?
So when I was a kid, about 10, 11 years old, after I'd seen the full movie, the kid that lived across the street from me, he had some type of a toy like laser gun, but it looked a lot like that, and I fucking loved Robocop so much. Every time I went over to his house, I wanted to play with that gun to the point where like he got irritated, and he's
yeah.
he's
Well, I
like,
think it was the fact that you kept saying, "Can I pretend to kill you?" over and over again, like it was really disturbed him.
I don't remember this, but I'm sure my tubby ass was like walking like Robocop out there in the front yard.
Were you like doing the music?
Probably.
Dude, that fucking like, but again, like when he flips the gun and then like the shit in his leg that opens up and the gun goes back in, like, god damn,
the holster,
so cool, so fucking.
And
cool.
I will say this: our editing is fucking ass. Like it's me. Yeah, this guy's doing it. Our editing is ass for a podcast, but it does make you think different and you see different shit when you start doing it. Like the cuts to like where it's just a quick cut of a leg opening up, then it cuts back to the full body, like where like you don't have any there's no thought like, oh yeah, that's exactly what that did. That's where that gun is now. Like so fucking good. Obviously they're Hollywood guys. It should be good, but you know what? I appreciate it more now.
So that
like on film too. So it's not like you just
they were
splicing
shit, man.
Shit,
like
going through like reels and reels of tape to see it 30 seconds of footage.
So the part where his leg opens up for the gun to go in was a completely different piece. It was never part of the
yeah,
suit.
I picked that up like watching it and just kind of knowing how editing goes, but it's so smooth that I never picked that up before.
Same with the Spock that comes out that he uses to like go into the database. That was literally someone off camera holding a fist up there, and that thing like popped out. But just to watch it, you would never know.
So fucking smooth. Like again, good editing, good special effects. Like bomb as fuck. Yao Ming.
So Robocop's on the scene, man. Like there he is. You get to see him shoot. You get to see his modified Beretta, as Gibbs said. You get to see like everybody in the precincts like freaking out. There's basically a cybernetic mutant on the force now, and they can't say anything about it. And you know why, Gibbs? Because privatization, baby. That's right.
And the other thing too is like the guy that invented RoboCop, like he's got a bright future.
Yeah. Yep.
Miles Dyson.
That's the upper middle management written all over his ass.
Yeah. So he's celebrating at home. He's got a couple of hookers there. We see the suit, which Gibbs and I talked about earlier. It was influenced heavily by some older films. 1927's Metropolis.
Which I'll put some clips in here now. Shadwick sent me some images that are pretty fucking cool, and you can actually definitely see the correlation between those.
In aesthetic and in concept too, because Metropolis, like Gibbs was saying earlier, was about a dystopian future where the haves were living above ground in towers and mansions, and the have-nots that were actually making everything run actually lived underground, like po-folk,
like Murlocs, or what was the
like Murlocs.
It's actually exactly like
that. And then also I think it was 1951's 1951's The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
And you can definitely see the influence there, because the alien in that has the helmet with the little visor thing over his eyes.
Yeah.
But you think they intended eventually for like RoboCop to like self-replicate? Is that why he had those big birthing hips?
I mean, I just thought he did a lot of squats.
Well, I mean, one of the things that like they were talking about him whenever they were designing this thing was the fact that he had wider hips. Like he just naturally had bigger hips, so like it was gonna pop out anyway. I mean,
I just thought it was a nod to Arnold because he had.
It's sexy either way. It's really sexy.
I wonder what RoboCop did. I wonder what RoboCop did about chafing.
Oh, man, dude, he didn't.
Easy glide.
They had full cybernetics. It's not even. It's never even detailed how much of him was still human. But I mean, his gun went in his thigh. Like you can only imagine. He basically probably was mostly cybernetics.
I was talking about the metal rubbing together.
I mean, it's Teflon, dude, and titanium. It's bullet
turtle wax.
So the reveal happens. We get to see RoboCop. He's ready to go. So what happens? Of course, he just jumps in a car and rides off into the not to fight crime, bro. And we get these myriad of scenes.
No, I'm sorry. There's like that's two scenes in a row that kind of flash back to or hint at it's still Murphy. You know, first you get the twirling of the gun, and then you get the sparks from the bottom of the car. So it's like, oh, there's still some of him left in that.
Right.
Which is great fucking writing, right? Like, I mean, like when you watch it the first time, that's what I like about people that really think their shit through. Because when you watch it the first time, you're not going to pick that up. When you watch it again, you're like, fuck. Like, there it is.
Point.
Like,
One more quick thing. The gloves were made out of like latex rubber. So the part where they throw the keys and he catches it, I think they said it took like 22 takes, because they kept bouncing out of his hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
He basically quit at one point in time. Like
he quit so hard till he didn't get any more jobs, and then WCW was like Sting's in a cage.
It's according to Wikipedia, but
they were filming in Dallas. They're filming in Dallas in the summertime. It was like 120, 130 degrees.
Can you imagine?
They said he was losing like 10 pounds a day from being in the suit.
I mean, you did okay. So to sidetrack,
he was already a fucking skeleton.
Yeah. So to sidetrack on that, you did bodybuilding. What did you cut like before you won your fucking title, Shadwick award-winning bodybuilder, 100% award-winning bodybuilder? Before you won your title, that last week, how much did you cut?
I know that I would lose 4 pounds in a cardio session. So,
God damn.
But
can we put sad Bill Cosby in here right now? Let's just no.
Yeah, but a lot of that was like you cut your water intake. So
I know.
So like on Monday I drank like 2 gallons of water. Tuesday was a gallon of water, half gallon, and it gets all the way down to where
you have 3 drops in your tongue.
Like on the Saturday show day, I had like no water at all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You purposely dehydrate. That's what I was trying to get at. Is like, you probably dropped 20 fucking pounds, 15 pounds, like some shit. Like, and this dude's dropping 10 pounds in a day, like off of dehydration.
And he didn't have 10 pounds.
No, that's what I mean. Like, it's just fucking nuts. Like,
yeah,
because I can't imagine being in that full fucking outfit and then you got to go film and stuff.
I think I don't know if it was for this movie or if it was a sequel, but they eventually added some type of cooling system into the suit.
Yeah,
that was a sequel.
I bet they didn't think of it for this.
There's a lot of problems like with the suit, because I know that the Peter Weller had an idea of how he was going to act as RoboCop, and he had it all in his head, and the suit wasn't completed when filming started. So they filmed like a lot of the other scenes, and by the time so he had started acting out and figuring out how he was going to be, and by the time the suit arrived, he was like, "Oh, fuck,
damn,
like I can't move in this thing, dude." And so he had to get on my face.
That's when he quit. He quit. He was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And
he's like,
they ended up like changing he had like a movement coach that helped him figure out what he could do.
A mom coach.
Yeah.
And Verhoeven actually was going to replace him. Like they had already scheduled like another replacement, but the suit didn't fit him.
Like
he was
short.
Yeah, it was already made for Peter Weller. So yeah, with a movement coach and a lot of coaxing and work throughs, they got him to stay on the project and keep going. So he managed to do really good. But like a lot of his movement, if you watch even like a lot of the scenes, like there's an action scene later on which will be referenced soon enough. My third and final traumatizing moment where he kind of dodges out of the way of the car, but even still, it's super like robotic.
Oh yeah,
like really janky, like how he moves.
You were talking about the editing, like the gun.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the car, when we watched it last night, I was like, "How the fuck is he getting in and out of the car?" And then he like gets out, and Christy goes like that. And she goes, "Better than me."
Same.
But I read up on it, and he only had the top half of the suit on. He was actually sitting in the car in his underwear.
They also had to use a different car than what they originally did because he couldn't fit in the original car. They had made and so like they ended up using a Ford Taurus instead, which was new at the time and so super futuristic.
Just a quick correlation to my life. You know who also drove a Ford Taurus Leaf? Mr. Robbie McKenzie.
Robbie McKenzie drove a Ford Taurus.
My fucking boy.
Our
Mr.
boy,
Rob
dude.
Dog.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Rob Dog.
right.
Hell yeah, brother.
God bless him.
So I just want to so yeah, we get to learn a lot more about Robocop. We have the big gigantic reveal. We'll tell y'all a lot of hidden secrets and facts about the suit. But so his big reveal happens. He's at the precinct, his old precinct, as used to be as Murphy on his first and only day.
His first fucking day.
Which is like one of my notes, stupidly, now that I think about it, was like nobody recognized him, but they didn't have a chance to, dude. He got blown away the first day. So I guess he was not as stupid as I thought to bring him back to the same precinct. Only, of course, his partner eventually recognized him, which we'll talk about. But he jumps in his old car and just rides into the night, and we get this montage of him fighting crime. And this may be one of my favorite parts of the movie because he just starts Robocopping all over the fucking city
with the greatest theme song you can ever imagine.
The greatest themes, music, action.
So I have a question though. That first scene, the guy's robbing a convenience store, right?
Yes.
He comes in, and the guy tries to run away, and he basically clotheslines him across the room, and guy crashes through I don't know, a Coke machine.
It's like a stand, like a frozen.
Yeah. But then Robocop, he just goes, thank you for your cooperation. He doesn't arrest the guy.
He doesn't have to. He's dead.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, that scene was completely
paralyzed.
different. Originally there was a little kid in the store and everything like that, but the shooting was running late and they had to cut the scene. So they had to change things around at the last minute, so stuff doesn't make sense in that. If you ever seen the 1990 It miniseries, it was the guy that played Eddie Spaghetti in.
Oh shit!
If you have a kid too on set though, you have super strict rules.
Midnight's the cutoff and all that.
So
shit,
you can't just keep going. So
fucking kids ruin everything.
Yeah, but that guy that got hit through the
said
cooler was also in the second RoboCop movie. I don't know if he plays the same character or not, but it's the same actor.
Does he just scream, "Fuck me! Fuck me! Fuck me!"
as he's emptying a machine gun into Robocop, to no effect.
Yeah, I don't believe he does that, but it would have been better.
Great.
RoboCop is cleaning fucking house because now we got the new sheriff's in town, right?
So to wrap up this montage, there's an attempted sexual assault scene.
Yes.
Two guys accost this woman out in an alleyway, and this one was also very, very disturbing to me.
Yeah, man.
It was they cut her hair.
Yeah, dude.
And then the guy's like, oh, she's got more hair down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't understand whenever I was 5 years old.
Me neither,
so,
dude. I didn't know what they were doing. Thank God
Dude, like,
RoboCop shows up because I couldn't take any more like goofy, like gross exposition from these guys.
This was the scene was actually rewritten on the fly.
Really?
Originally, the guy is holding the girl, and RoboCop shoots past her cheek and hits the guy,
clips him in the head or whatever.
But the director noticed that the way the girl was standing, her legs were apart. So he's like, well, hold on, he can shoot between her legs
With the ultimate like justice for this kind of crime
Yeah.
or whatever. And he was like, shotgun to the dick.
Yep.
I just gotta say, this guy's got some low hanging fruit. If that actually hit down there.
Well, I mean, it was a 50 cal gun, so I mean, it covers.
But again, like
No,
I mean,
no, that Beretta is a 9mm.
And that's
the
scene
hole.
up to that.
The hole it put it looked like a 50 cal to me.
That scene up
That's
to
true.
that point is like super fucking disturbing. But then there's like some like kind of like there's justice with that, like, you know, like dude just is like.
But then you see, I guess what could be the downside to RoboCop is the woman runs over to him like trying to be thankful or
No
whatever.
empathy, right?
Yeah, it's like you've been through a crisis. I'm contacting whatever.
So
I thought that was
special
very thoughtful
services
of him.
for. Like it was just no emotion. It was very like robotic and matter of fact. Like
I mean,
showing.
if I was a cop, I would have just been like, "Bitch, get off of me."
Just play that clip where the bitches get out.
Classic
Yeah,
Gibbs.
Bitches leave.
Bitches leave.
Bitches leave.
Which should be coming up to that part now, right?
No, 4 more hours. 4 more hours.
4 more hours.
No, there's we need to talk. We're getting close. So basically RoboCop's all over the city. There's a lot of great scenes. He beats and shoots his way through the city, solving crimes with his modified Beretta to the dick, as well as busting through walls, throwing people through plate glass windows. It's just genius. But all is not well with RoboCop.
What?
Yes, he's chilling in his electric chair at the recharging station at the police headquarters, and he starts to recall.
Goddamn Apple.
It's just what that shit costs. The shit costs $800 a day. He starts getting like recall flashes from his old life.
Yeah, man.
The problem spurred on by his ex-partner Annie Lewis, who immediately recognizes him, not only because he did the gun spin like earlier on, right when he was revealed, but also just because he looks like
because he has his fucking face.
So is his face included? Why they didn't put?
She's like murdering Murphy.
That's him, dude.
She's like, you look a lot better without the top half of your face. I gotta say.
Yeah, with the visor. So yeah, you get these sad flashbacks. Murphy's like RoboCop's realizing that he had a life before this, before he was a killing, crime fighting machine, and you want
to shut him down because he had a dream,
dude. He gets this. Yeah, he starts to recognize some of the old criminals. You get this sad fucking scene, dude, where he goes to like his old house.
Yeah,
and it's a brilliant scene because he's wandering through this abandoned house, right? But then it's the static is fading into his memories, and then it's like it's populated with furniture, and his kid is playing in the kitchen, his wife's in the bedroom, and he's learning and relearning like he had a wife and a family, and he didn't remember any of this stuff. And he's also seeing
he's looking at the bed, going through his highlight reel.
That's the beautiful thing about this movie and a lot of these 80s movies that are like a slim 90 minutes long is you start with the action and then slowly you build the character. You don't sit there and spend 30 minutes.
Well, you need a fucking reason. You need a reason to care. You gotta care.
This is all like. This is really all we get about his past, but it's more than enough for us to care about what happens to him.
It keeps the badassery of like all the action and shit, but they maximized the time for this.
Yeah.
So like they say, okay, like we're giving you, what, a minute, 2 minutes of this like flashback. That's all you need. Be like, dude, he's still in there.
A couple of seconds of him being a negligent father while his son's watching TV instead of spending time with him, and then you.
He's like, Dad, Ranger Danger's on. And he's like, God damn it, that's wrong,
It's
Chris.
TJ Laser, dadgummit. Get her out to pay the price.
He's like, can you do that, Dad? And he just shoots him dead. He's like, with your expectations.
None of that happens.
Like, think it over, creep.
This is a sweet and tender scene. But what is awesome is he does start to remember the dudes that murdered him and took his life away. And
does it hurt?
All of those, yes. He starts getting these gross flashbacks of him getting shot to death in each of the perpetrators' faces.
And he's like, game fucking on.
He's like, game on. So immediately now, instead of a crime-fighting flick, it turns into a revenge flick. And Gibbs is right. There's zero fat on this movie. And as fast as we're moving, it makes perfect sense. There's no moments where you're like, what? Look, what's happening? Like, I don't understand. You're completely in the moment and in the movie, every single scene. There's no way you can be confused. Check your brain, drink more IPAs if you are, because this movie is sequentially flawless.
It is though.
You can't question the science. To question science is to question. Oh, never mind.
Oh, God damn it.
But there is he does have a chance encounter with Emil.
Yes.
From the gang.
Yes.
At the gas station. And as he's like got his gun drawn on him, he says the same thing. Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Yeah, and he
and
realizes
the dude realizes, he's like, it's like, we killed you.
We killed you. You're dead. Yeah.
And so that like triggers something, and Emil actually gets away because Robocop's having his little flashback
emo
episode.
moments, like
yes. So Emil's one of the first ones he seeks out, and
per se,
to get clues and to figure out like where these guys are, because he's coming for them now. So we're immediately in revenge flick mode, and so he's coming for all these dudes. And
there's a cool thing that supposedly happens, or happens. It's a shell station, and when the thing blows up, the S falls out and it just says hell. So like whenever the flames are going up, it's like
that was cool. Yeah,
and
that was a really cool scene.
They got in trouble for that scene because the explosion was so big it actually caught that building on fire.
Should have been standing there.
That's Detroit. Don't act like they weren't used to it.
So they So he's at the station, and that's when you first see that spot come out of his hand.
Yeah,
and he accesses the police database
to see who that guy was. Is it? We get the subplot with the OCP internal battle going on between bad guy number one, Dirk Dickless. I mean, his name was Dick Jones, and Bob Morton. So ED 209 creator Dick Jones versus Robocop creator Bob Morton, and the final scene.
What is Bob Morton doing?
Lines of coke off strippers' tits.
He was.
Bitches leave.
Why did they? Why did he
then
also?
What happens?
So,
How you doing? Bitches leave.
Bitches leave.
I'm gonna need you to clip that for further reference.
Okay,
I'm gonna need that
All
clip.
right, so my little funny bit of trivia here is Verhoeven always referred to the people as their characters. So the guy,
he's not kidding.
So the guy that played, what was his name? Miguel
Ferrer.
So Bob and Clarence, they had a hard time filming this scene. They kept busting out laughing because Verhoeven would refer to them as bitches.
Bitches, you go over there. Bitches.
Yeah.
And it's he didn't understand that was like a derogatory term. He would just say bitches, go over there. Bitches, go over there.
Are they actually quoted in the credits as bitches? Nobody knows.
Please.
I'm gonna They're not.
No, it was bitch one and bitch two. Yeah. They're individuals. Yeah. They're not a package deal.
What are you, a monster?
I don't believe any of you. I'm looking it up.
No,
that's not how you purchase them.
We'll clip this. We'll clip this and find out what it is in the.
I'm looking this up right now.
No,
dude.
but he did. He really did just refer to them as bitches. He didn't know any better. It wasn't just like he was trying to be a dick.
He was innocent, dude.
It was the bitches. You go over there.
It was the quick twitch versus a normal twitch. Bob Morton is betrayed by Dick Jones. His main henchman, Clarence Boddicker, basically murders him. Like
That's Dr. Jones to you.
Okay. That was a cool fucking moment where he uses his tongue and clamps down and pulls out the grenade.
Yeah, the grenade.
His little like tongue lick thing on it. Like I was just like, you know what? I love this guy. I want to marry him. I want to have 10,000 of his babies.
Mm-hmm. He pulls a timed grenade after shooting Bob in the legs, ending the feud forever, and blows his ass up with a grenade. And along with a Coke, but not the bitches.
Game on him.
You should see him fuck Gibbs.
No.
He's the best piece of ass in 3 states.
The scene was cut, but like Clarence Boddicker spent about 5 minutes just snorting Coke left and right.
Dude,
he was like waste not, want not.
No,
Y'all notice? So all the way through the movie, he's either like snorting Afrin, or he's he puts his fingers down in wine and sniffs wine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna get to that.
Or it was like, BET After Dark, like when the bouncer, like the girls come in and he's like,
guess what I did last night?
BET After Dark. The close we can get to softcore porn on cable, ladies and gentlemen.
Bro, that's all we had. We couldn't afford fucking HBO. All right,
I had MTV Spring Break. That was mine.
So the subplot ends like Dick Jones is the main bad guy now. RoboCop funder and creator Bob Morton is dead. R.I.P. Luckily, the bitches do survive. But who gives a shit about that? Because RoboCop shows up to a crack factory and kills everybody.
Yeah,
probably maybe the best scene in the movie.
He blows everyone away except for the main henchman. He arrests the majority of them. They somehow survive, and he arrests number one thug bad guy Clarence Boddicker, aka Kurtwood Smith.
Well, earlier in that scene though, like whenever they're establishing that scene, and it's like they're. It's the two guys swinging dicks, measuring dicks and seeing who's. But that's the wine thing, whenever he sits down and shit, like that was improvised, where like he sticks his fingers in the wine,
fingers,
so good, man,
and sniffs them and shit like that. And then the other guy, like he wasn't expecting that, so he was like, not to be one up, I'm still gonna drink this shit. So both of those things were improvised in that scene,
nice.
Which makes sense
and
though,
also
because
guns.
Dude, yeah, it makes sense.
Come on,
because
Sal. Tigers are playing tonight.
This guy's a drug dealer.
Yeah, the Tigers are playing tonight.
And I never miss a game.
And this dude's a drug dealer, so he wants respect is big for him. And then you've got Clarence's character.
And how can you maintain respect when Clarence calls you a wop?
I mean,
that's not how I understood it.
I hate future me.
Robocop presses on the door. He comes in, just shoots fucking everybody.
He kills so many people.
He's got Clarence, and he's like throwing him through all these like glass panels.
Yes.
Clarence is telling him, "You can't do this. I work for Dick Jones."
He sings like
with
a
OCP.
canary.
He's with OCP. He runs the cops. So RoboCop has him, and he's like choking him, and Clarence is like, hold on, Chris, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. So Clarence is like, you're a cop. And then there's this pause, and then RoboCop.
I'm a cop, you idiot! I'm Detective John Kimball. This man is under arrest.
Ah, shit. I got the wrong one.
That is not what happens, dude.
Hold on.
It is kind of what happens. A little bit.
You know what? I didn't get the other one either. I thought that was it. Hold on, let me try again.
I'm a cop, you idiot! I'm Detective John Kimball. This man is under arrest.
You can barely even see Arnold, and it's so quick.
No.
But yes, his it's important to remember Robocop.
I bet that tastes good.
It's important to remember that Robocop knows who this guy is now. He remembers he took and so he's basically trying to kill him. But his programming, which is he can't do it, man. He's unarmed. He can't just kill somebody for revenge. Like Robocop's not allowed to do that, right?
So he gotta fucking take him in.
He's gotta take him in, dude. He's gotta take him in, man. So he arrests him.
So he does. So he does. He takes him in the precinct.
Just give me my fucking phone.
And he's
so fucking baller.
Blood on the freaking arrest forms.
Well, the spinning was another improv thing. He went up to Paul Verhoeven.
Really?
He was like, hey, what about I spit down before I say the line? The line was there, but he was like, what if I spit down? And he was like, yes, that's good. Blood, spit blood. And so that was what they threw in. It was just like something that the characters.
Dude, that fucking it was so badass. Like that's again, like you hate him, but like he spits down. They're fucking handcuffed by the rules. Like what are they gonna do?
I wish he was my real dad. I fucking love that guy. I swear to God.
A psychopathic murderer.
Yeah, but what
he seems really, really suave though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad would never come up with a line like, just give me my fucking phone call.
Yeah.
Dad would never.
And his charisma carries over when he goes to visit Dick Jones, and he goes into the lobby, and the secretary is actually his wife now.
You're kidding me, dude.
And,
I think that they were married at the time, weren't they?
No, they got married in '88.
88, okay.
So I assume that they met on set.
That's fucking cool, man.
A year later, huh?
But
I love the sticking the gum on the thing, and
he's still being a dickhead, but he's hardcore flirting with her.
Yeah, well, and he's got that line too. He's like, "I've got an appointment with Dick Jones, but maybe later on you can fit me in."
Shadwick was 8 years old, and he's like,
Gibbs' dad would have never thought of a line like, "Can you fit me in?"
No, he would have been like, "We should have had an abortion."
Robocop is still a cop at this point in time, goes to arrest Dick Jones at OCP headquarters, and is betrayed by a secret directive in his programming that won't let him arrest any OCP executives.
Which, by the way,
sounds legit.
Fucking awesome. We tie it all together later on. But I fucking love this, especially when I went back and watched it again, and I was like, big smile on my face later on. But continue.
Yes.
Yeah, but actually, at my job, they also have a clause in my contract where I can't kill somebody at my work.
Stupid, dude. Stupid laws. If he try, not only can he not arrest an OCP executive, but he begins to almost completely like shut down. Completely, like if he tries to, which he does, so he immediately starts to lose his powers and his abilities to move and target and do everything, but he's fighting it. Like his human Murphy side now is starting to use. So this scene is really important, not only because he gets basically betrayed by all the authority in which he swore to uphold. He's also starting to rebel against his own programming. Murphy, who is his heart and soul, starts to like kind of take over a little bit, right? Like it's fighting Robocop, the cyborg, and now Murphy's starting to kind of come out a little bit too.
And since he's being more human, Dick Jones thinks that maybe he'd like to make a friend, and and ED-209 comes in.
He does. He was like, "Hey, remember ED-209?
It's time to erase that mistake."
Yeah. So like ED-209 comes in and like walk us through the scene real quick, Leaf. Because I got a question.
Okay. So ED-209 just starts to like do what ED-209 does and basically be an armored machine gun and shoot. So he shoots. He's got rockets. He's got missiles. He's throwing bolos. He's doing Indian burns. Nipples pierced. He's got it all, dude. This ED-209 has everything, and he's just blowing up Robocop. And while Robocop's obviously trying to stay like conscious, right? He's fighting his programming. It's just insane, this entire fight. And Robocop's basically doing nothing but running and trying to dodge bullets and missiles the entire time. And he runs into a stairwell and is pursued by ED-209, where ED-209 is summarily defeated by architecture.
So that's where I want to stop you. That's where I want to stop you. So you were a kid when you saw this.
Yes.
So as an adult, when you watch this again, as a man in a wheelchair, do you sympathize with ED 209 and the stairs, or
I did?
Well, once he reverts to the pig squeals instead of the growls, I feel bad for him.
Was he squealing?
I will say,
which was also somehow disturbing to me.
Leaf was watching it, and he's like, "Where's ED 209's Chris to help him down the stairs?"
I have also, without Chris's help, fallen down the stairs and squealed like a pig upon impact. That is also so. I sympathize with ED 209.
ED 209 needed.
I thought it was in that Vegas bathhouse where you squealed like a pig.
Two things can be true.
It was like right before that, like 8209's just been properly beating Robocop's ass, and for that weird like voice 8209 has, he's like, "Oh yes, I was wondering what would break first."
That was the voice of ED209 is the producer John Davison, I think his name is, or whatever.
Serious?
Like, yeah, like they just modified that guy is the reason this movie got made too. So it was like kind of cool having a little camera.
Yeah,
you know, but he's got the nicest voice in the world, so they really had to mess it up to kind of sound that cool. But
so Robocop defeats Ed 209, runs down the stairwell, and runs outside, dude. And what is awaiting on him? Well, of course, it's his friends, the police officers, right, Gibbs? The cops are always your buddies, dude. They're already ready to help you. And of course, they instantly open fire on his ass and just literally, if not for his titanium, adamantium, Kevlar body, like he would have been turned into Swiss cheese for the second time in this movie.
It's a good time.
Robocop was like, "I can't breathe."
Yeah, and it causes.
It's a good time to mention that the cops in this movie are all named after mass murderers and serial killers.
Oh, are they really?
Seriously, they are.
Yeah, so like there's Starkweather and Manson and shit like that. So like,
oh wow,
there was a
Ramirez. Or was that before you?
Yeah, Ramirez. It was.
So I did notice Manson, but I didn't. I mean, I thought about it, but
good
I
little
didn't.
fucking tidbit.
They were
that's
purposely
cool.
doing that. Like, I mean, the whole thing is a social commentary. So like, there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, like they're all everybody's a bad guy in this movie except for Clarence Boddicker, who is my dad.
All right, so so it causes.
Can you fly, Gibby?
It causes a schism in the police department because half of the cops are like, "No, you can't do that. He's one of us," and the other cops are like, "We have orders to kill," you know. And so they blast him, but he survives. And of course, he's falling down the what is it? Where are they at? They're like at a parking garage.
Parking garage.
And he's rolling down and flipping and crawling and barely escaping.
Which is the fastest he moved in the entire movie.
Yes,
and that's Peter Weller actually doing those.
He did a stunt there.
Stunt double. I'm sorry, I lied.
I was gonna say that is a stunt double.
There was a stunt double actually doing that, hurting himself and shit.
Like he was falling out of like a whole like story's worth of concrete and falling down. And RoboCop, of course, is arrested by his ex partner. They finally reunite.
In jail.
In Annie Lewis picks him up and drives him to an abandoned warehouse where he can heal and lick his wounds. So that scene ends like that. When then we're on to the this is the finale here, ladies and gentlemen. We actually are wrapping this up. So here it comes. Chaos then immediately erupts in the city as all the police officers, the cops, go on strike. So much for defunding the police. OCP's hired thugs, aka the same thugs that gunned Murphy down in the beginning of the film, go on the hunt for RoboCop, who's in hiding after his beatdown. The city is basically in flames. There's no police officers, and it goes as about well as you might expect. The criminals are on the street. They're stealing cars. All of them are let out of jail, which are all things that actually really happen in real life, ironically. This satire actually isn't so far off. Everybody's rioting, like throwing Molotov cocktails, and they're given by OCP, the main thugs, the thug group that's hunting RoboCop, like military weaponry.
Yep.
Like guns that if you shoot just will instantly explode anything it shoots.
Gibbs,
The
are these
Cobra
all like
assault
50
cannon. State of
Are
the art.
these like-
Bang bang.
Bang,
What are
bang.
these in this movie, Gibbs?
Huh?
Like the actual guns they're using in this movie. What are these?
So that the guns are they've modified them.
ones.
They're Barrett 50 cal, like the
So they're 50
what
cals.
use.
They
Yeah.
look like 50 cals. To me.
Manufactured in Tennessee. Thank you very much. Represent.
Let's go.
Yeah, they're modified to, but they're the Cobra assault cannons.
The state of the art, bang bang.
You know, like that's what they fucking are, man.
Nice.
It's beautiful. A lot of those Barretts actually have like built-in like bipods that you put on the ground.
Yeah.
You're supposed to lay
Okay.
down and actually shoot them.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to just carry
And
them.
some of these did. Like there's a few scenes where you can see that not all of them have the bipods, but some of them did. Like I think one of the ones that Robocop uses towards the end of the movie because he snatches one of them he puts it on top of the car and it has a bipod on it. So
Okay.
some of them actually do. But the criminals are using them just like freehand, and they pull the trigger, and it's completely unrealistic. Even though these guns are insanely badass, they're like everything they shoot just instantly explodes. They're blowing up cars, buildings.
I wanted that to be my adulthood.
It's so cool, man. It's such a cool scene. They're just playing with them, and they're giving the tracker so they can find out Robocop's location. And
the tracker.
Yeah, the tracker. They have the tracker.
It's just a box with some curvy lines on it and a blinking light.
It's
Wavy lines.
Listen, that's all they need to track him.
He's in a steel mill. Let's go.
Yeah, he's licking his wounds at the steel mill, and there's this entire scene I sort of slightly skipped over with him and his partner, where they're basically like, he's coming to terms with the fact that he's not Robocop. He's Murphy.
Yeah.
Right.
He's murdering Murphy.
So
he's murdering Murphy.
So he takes the visor off because it's all wrecked all to hell, and his targeting system's messed up. So Lewis helps him aim so he can get his targeting system. Yeah,
yeah.
Tastes like baby food.
Yeah, he's not hungry, so he shoots the baby food, and he's ready to fight.
He's like, I'm so tired of this shit.
He's come to terms. He's come to terms with who he is and what he is and how he was robbed, not only by the thugs coming to kill him, but also by OCP. Right? Like he never signed up for that shit. Doesn't matter what waiver that he signed. He lost his wife because he asked Lewis, his partner. It's like, hey, what happened to my wife and kid? And they basically were like, well, you were dead, so they just moved on. Clearly, obviously, and he was just like,
they moved on within 2
like
days. All right,
but that was an emotional anchor where he's seriously like he's like I can't remember them, but I can feel them.
Yeah,
which is like the coolest fucking
It's a line because you could in that moment Gibbs is 100% right because it's a sad moment where he realizes he can never go back. Like he really, but some of what he used to be still persists, but a lot of it is gone.
Like he's fighting it. He's fighting it still.
He's fighting it. But he's also accepting a lot of that too. That hey, I can't get a lot of this back. It's just gone. And that's just the way that it is, These guys are coming for me, and I got to do what I was born or made to do, whichever way you want to look at it. And that's when the bad guys arrive. And then the bad guys all proceed to die in the most horrific ways possible, as is God's law and will.
And yet another disturbing scene where Emil.
This is it.
That is the worst fucking death in cinematic history, man.
Let's build it up, though. So hold on. The black guy gets shot up. One of Gibbs' favorite characters gets gunned down, like just completely shot up. They ride out. One of the other main henchmen gets blown up by the super gun. I believe Robocop's partner kills him. Yeah, right. And but before that, and I wanted to say this to last, even though we're sequentially slightly out of order.
You're right to do it.
This fucking scene, dude. This is something that is uniquely horrific in all of 80s popular cinema. It just is. You can't hardly name another scene this gruesome in a popular in a mainstream. I'm not talking.
I'm clipping it in. I'm clipping it in because it's on YouTube. No, I can. It's on YouTube, so I can clip it in. We'll get copyright clip for it, but people need to fucking see it. It's disgusting. It's
It
already
is
on YouTube.
awful.
So
it's
Emil gets drenched in acid, I guess.
It's toxic
it's like
waste.
toxic waste. Yeah,
Well,
it's
no
like
one ever
toxic
tells
waste.
you. Well, no one ever tells you what pH it is. No one,
Basically he basically turns into the Toxic Avenger.
He's
and
trying
he's
to
struggling. Like he's asking for help. Like his hands fucking gone. His
And Leon's
eyes
like, "Get the
done."
fuck off of me!"
Hold on.
Yeah.
Here's my part. Here's my favorite part. He's making this noise. He's going.
Because he can't breathe. He's screaming because all his shit's collapsed in on itself due to the toxic waste. And then
It's so disgusting.
So how he gets turned, how this happens is he's in a van and he decides he's going to try to run Robocop over. And Robocop, even though he's the stiffest robo motherfucker, jukes.
He's like,
he shoots him, and the dude runs his truck into the toxic waste, and the back of the truck opens and it spills out, and he's in it, and he's literally mutating right before our very eyes.
he's melting, is what he's doing.
he's
not
melting.
mutating.
But
He's
it happens-
fucking melting.
Yes.
He's
It
like,
happens
his
in
eyes fucking
stages.
gone.
Yeah,
You
it
can see
happens
like
in
his
stages.
skin hanging off his bones on his fingers,
but
and
not
all that.
immediately.
And
At first, it just looks like a really bad burn. And then as the scenes cut, because this goes on for, if Chris posts the whole thing, it goes on for a while. Like, if scenes happen.
Shout out into Rabotine, who, for Chris, he also did the special makeup effects on Mr. Deeds. Like that shit is disgusting. That is so messed up.
He's so shiny and glossy. Like,
Oh, dude.
it's
and then
so,
Leaf
like,
walk us
wet
through
and
what
melting.
happens. What happens,
Buddy,
Leaf?
I
He's
wanna-
walking. He's walking. He wants
So
help.
finally-
His buddy won't help him.
So he's screeching. Yeah, he reaches out to one of the other thugs who's still.
Help me!
He's begging for help. The guy's like, oh, like he doesn't want him to touch him.
Like,
Who would?
he goes, he's like, get the fuck off of me!
Yeah, and he runs, right? And so he's looking for somebody to help him. And I mean, at this point in time, his leg is melting. His face is mostly melted. His arms are nubs. And he's just lurching out into the street, just thrashing, looking for any relief.
And here
finds it.
And here comes
Oh, he does.
Here comes Clarence in his 6000 SUX, the big car with reclining leather seats and really shitty gas mileage.
Shitty gas mileage, yeah.
And he and Clarence just runs him over. And when I use that term loosely, because when he hits him,
Head falls off.
he turns to goo.
Goo. Yeah, his head falls off.
Except for
Spatters.
his head, which bounces off the windshield like a fucking soccer
No,
ball.
It's
no, it splats,
Yeah,
right?
it splatters.
It
no,
hits.
the head bounces
head
off.
bounces.
Oh, it does.
Okay.
I thought when it hit the windshield, it just split.
That's the only thing that doesn't turn to
Everything
liquid.
splatters
Oh,
It is
except
so
for the head.
disgusting.
It's the nastiest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
And then when it was done, I
and
was
all
like,
form the head.
when it was done, I was like, is he gonna be all right?
As a kid, I was so. This is the scene that literally fucked me up. I was
dude,
like,
when I rewatched this, this also still fucked me up.
I on the other hand,
So somebody has shot Lewis, right? She falls down into this
it's
kind of somewhat dried up
Like
little
little ravine
pond or whatever.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
the drainage area, or whatever.
The main bad guy, Clarence wrecks in a car chase with Ann Lewis, and so the car is flipped over, and so she kind of pulls the car over to go see. And Chadwick's right. Like Clarence gets out of the car real fast and like shoots her, and it's like it's kind of he's like shooting her, and she's rolling down the hill like where she was looking. So he shoots her a few times, and she's rolling down the hill.
Yeah, you think she's maybe dead?
Yeah,
and like,
right. She's hurt,
unlike the 50 other
Or
partners she's had, she does not die.
No,
Yeah.
she somehow makes it. Like, of course, but so Robocop is shows up. And
wait, so you know that she's still alive because he's about to execute her, and then you hear Robocop.
Yeah.
Clarence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, Chadwick's correct.
And then, so he walks down into the area
Into the ravine.
Yeah, and Clarence realizes that his buddy is the crane, like he's up in the crane control center.
Yes.
And it's holding us a bunch of like scrap metal.
Yeah.
And so he's talking with RoboCop, like
Stalling him.
like
he's baiting him.
Yeah, he's like luring him to come over there, and it works. The dude drops all that scrap metal on top of him.
What a great fucking visual that is too. Like two things on that. The way that they filmed, I don't know how they did it, where the shit landed on RoboCop or whatever. But
they actually killed a guy.
but the vibrations of
Ethiopian.
The vibrations of RoboCop, like as like a robot dying, almost like where he's like fucking convulsing and shit. I thought was like that was awesome.
Yeah. Like he's pinned in this metal shit.
I still have no idea how they do that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So then, as soon as that happens, she couldn't have done it 5 seconds earlier, but Lewis uses the super gun. She uses the super gun to blow up the
or Cobra assault cannon.
Yes.
Bang bang.
State-of-the-art bang bang. She blows up. The character's name is the thug's name is Leon Nash, played by Ray Wise. Yeah, and he gets blown the fuck up by RoboCop's like faithful partner, and then she just summarily passes
after
out.
a half a day. Faithful partner.
Yes,
and Lewis.
Yes.
So then Clarence goes over to RoboCop
to finish him,
and I never quite understood this because he was bulletproof and everything, but Clarence was able to just run this like metal rod right through his chest.
It was adamantium.
It looks like I watched it again. I thought
it all makes sense now.
I thought the same thing. It looks like he hits one of his joints though.
Yeah,
like because there's spaces between
too.
the armor. I watched it again because I thought the same thing too. Shall we? I think he actually hits one of the spaces in the armor. Right?
And then I thought,
jams in.
However, in that grocery store or whatever, the convenience store, that guy nailed him with 4,000 fucking bullets, and nothing ever happens.
That's true.
We don't need to worry about this sort of shit because it's fucking badass. It doesn't fucking matter.
Very true. Very true.
But so now he's in close quarters and he's about to execute Murphy one more time, and we get one more great blood.
And what I thought, dude, like especially when I rewatched it, I thought to myself, what did Leaf learn from Roadhouse? A throat rip, and that's what I thought happened here. But it's not quite a throat rip, but it's kind of a throat rip, and that blood is just
the plot that just happened.
That's what happens too. Is whoever did the research is it pulsates on a heartbeat. So
they didn't do a research; they just threw a water balloon full of blood on him.
No, it keeps
and it was great.
It just keeps going.
I'm saying like the plot
he's
that
on
happens on RoboCop.
Yeah.
And Paul Verhoeven just stood over and was like, "Plot."
And then it's whatever machinery he's like holding it here, and it just looks like his fucking neck is
shooting out. Like it's nasty.
That's stupid.
It's like in Holland, our blood is green. Isn't that weird?
Isn't that weird?
Save me from myself. Yes.
So Clarence is dead, and
he's fucking dead.
And Murphy's trapped under this all this scrap metal,
steel.
And he yells over at Lewis, and she goes, Murphy, I'm a mess, and he's like, it'll clear up in 5 to 7 days.
It always does. Anyways, and he just cybernetically starts pulling himself from the multi-ton steel rubble.
And he does a really good scream there.
Yeah.
Like it kind of goes along with that screeching metal.
So he's getting out. You assume, thanks to RoboCop's wise words, that Lewis is also going to live, which she does.
So it cuts to OCP in the office again. Dick Jones is up there with the board, and they've got ED209's
guarding the entrance,
guarding the perimeter, and so RoboCop comes up in the car, pulls up. Okay,
I'm sorry. I just want to see a behind the scenes part where there's a bunch of fucking dumbass dudes trying to put him back on his feet in that stairwell.
trying to
get
lift
him
him
back
up.
into condition.
Hey,
Well, you pull this side up. I'll pull. Hold on. Like I just want to see like a 45-minute clip of guys trying to get him back to get
hilarious.
and then they get him back on his feet, and he falls down to the other land. You know?
Hilarious.
Who is it, Gibbs? Was it a producer that wanted a comedic beat right here? So when Robocop pulls up in the car, that 8209's out there. He gets the gun out and like blows it in half or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody pretty much ordered a comedic beat right there. So as Robocop is walking in, you see like the bottom half of the 8209. It walks into frame, and you see this little like sprocket or whatever like spinning at the top.
Yeah.
And then it does like this like drunken move and falls over.
Yeah.
And then it's like its little toe is like.
Yeah. That was a producer note, but I mean that is a good time to Phil Tippett, I think his name is, the stop motion guy, did an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But he was also the guy that did like the AT-ATs and Empire Strikes Back, and he's like a legend in
stop motion.
You know, so. Yeah, just wanted to give him a shout out real quick, and then we can move on with our lives.
To that point, I just want to say that the model, the big model of Ed 209, not the stop motion one they used for the graphics, but the actual big model, stood 7 feet tall and weighed 300 to 500 pounds.
Damn.
Yeah, this thing was freaking huge.
Did it say what he was made out of?
It was
just like fiberglass, or
it was just a model. Like it said fiberglass. Yeah, model.
It was papier mâché.
Yeah, fully articulated fiberglass model that took 4 months to build and cost $25,000.
He goes upstairs for one of my, or actually,
here we go.
Maybe my favorite moment in the movie is when RoboCop's like finally gonna just dish out some justice.
Yes, cybernetic justice,
but he can't because he's programmed.
If you're an executive of it's directive number 4, if you're executive OCP, you cannot arrest or use lethal force against them. And he has everything he needs though to arrest him and take him down for good. He has the proof, the video of him.
Yeah.
His basically,
which he displays to the board. So
you'll notice when the Spike thing comes out to load the video, it's still covered with blood.
It looks like a middle finger.
It does.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
I always thought that
hilarious that there's a port for RoboCop Spike data enhancement on everything everywhere.
USB cord?
It's his USB Spike. So he uses it to show the executive board the evil plans from Dick Jones.
Why don't they just build them with Bluetooth?
They tried that with 8209. It didn't work out so well.
You saw how well that worked out.
Blame privatization of everything.
Yeah. So Chris's favorite moment. Go ahead, Chris.
So he can't twist. because he can't, and then the old man is like,
Dick, you're fired.
So guess what?
As he's being held at gunpoint.
Yep.
Like Dick Jones using him as a human shield.
And he's like, "You're fired." And then RoboCop's like, "Well, if it isn't Mom Frere, then it's game fucking
and
on."
Proceeds to 8209 his ass.
He does.
And unlike 8209, he shoots some of the plate glass window out, so he's not quite as accurate or efficient.
And you get the claymation fall scene that I always like. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that's the worst fucking scene in the whole movie.
That
guy's arms look like a praying mantis. Like they're fucking 14
I didn't say it was great. I just said it was the claymation fall scene that they used in all those.
Yeah,
the same
unfortunately,
shit Batman 89. Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, unfortunately, you see it 2 years later.
Which is crazy because like Alfred Hitchcock used that, did the same effect in I think it was North by Northwest, where the guy's falling off the Liberty Statue of Liberty, and it looks amazing. And how come, like 20 years later, they can't do any fucking better? In fact, they do worse.
I can tell you right now, dude. This is literally an example of tech creep because people have this technology, 100%. And you can see the same. You see the same bullshit in the newer Star Wars when some of the older practical effects just look way better. But everybody's like, "Yo, green screen, bro. We got to green screen it." Yeah, dude, and it looks way worse. It's like use more practical effects. So
I mean, couple of years later, like in Die Hard, whenever Hans Gruber is falling from the
actually
tower,
filmed him falling. Like they filmed him falling.
Hans, Booby.
Yeah, but not on he didn't actually fall from the tower though. They still did something that was so much better than what they came up with. This is the only fault I have in this movie. Is
side note in the Hans one, I was like watching a doc on it, and so the director, you know how he looks like surprised like when he falls. They said, "Okay, on 3 we'll drop you."
Yeah,
and then he told the guy on 2 drop him. So they go 1, 2, and they dropped him, and he was braced for 3. So then he was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, and they also did that in slow motion too. I think that helped a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Hans, Booby,
I'm your white knight."
So and there's one more gem to bring it home. Leaf. What happens at the end? After all this, he's boom. Bad guy's dead, claymation style.
There's like 30 seconds left in this movie.
30 seconds, and so
let's see if we can get another hour out of it.
They ask
I got it for you, bro.
What do they ask him to, like, Gibbs? The Robocop.
What's your name?
Murphy.
There was another scene where it shows like Lewis recuperating in the hospital or whatever.
Who gives a shit about her?
Well,
no, this is a great scene.
Yeah, when Verhoeven saw the reaction that it got when he said his name was Murphy. The screen test just erupted in applause, and he's like, "Well, that's how it ends."
Yep. Yeah. I mean, also, that scene with Lewis whenever she's recovering. He goes in and visits her, shoves the gun down her throat, and just starts shooting down her throat. It's really just.
And people were like, "No,
why is this the ending?"
He goes in there, and blows her hand off.
Yeah,
that's how that feels.
Yeah, he's like, "Now you're one of me.
This is your fault."
This is it.
And with that's going to leave us to.
Oh, you didn't know?
Oh, I did know.
You didn't know.
I knew.
So for you didn't know, I just figured for this one it would be appropriate. Favorite fucking death scene. I'll go first, and it's gotta be the chemical guy in the goddamn car. I don't know how you beat it. I don't know how you beat the fucking dude melting on the hood of a car. So Shadwick.
I'm gonna go with Murphy's execution.
Oh, okay.
Just because there's a little bit of dialogue there with Clarence Boddicker.
It's a good one.
He gives him the "I've got a problem. Cops don't like me.
Yeah,
and
so I don't like cops."
Yeah, so he's got a little context there. So I like that. Leaf.
Excellent. I'm going to go one out of left field. You guys may or may not remember, but this happens in multiple movies, and every time it happens, it puts me in stitches. When Robocop bursts into the crack lab, he begins shooting and dispatching drug dealers and some of the technicians there. He shoots this one Burt Reynolds-looking motherfucker who's like overweight, and the guy after he gets shot is like, and he turns and he's like shooting, and he shoots like another guy. Like it's like a serious, so fucking funny. That would put me in stitches harder than anything else in the entire movie. Because like, like the gun is going off and he turns, dude. Funniest death scene.
That was that guy's idea too. He was like, "How about awesome. Die and I turn around and start killing other people?"
It's so funny, and I've seen it used before in other movies. It's not. Maybe this is the first one. I don't think but it's not an original idea in 80 or 90s movies. The dude a guy gets shot and the dude's still holding the trigger, right? And he's like randomly and it kills somebody else. Like makes me laugh every damn time. Without a shadow of a doubt, my favorite death scene.
All right,
Beautiful.
special guest and RoboCop expert Gibbs, your favorite death scene.
I mean, Emil is obviously the best, but just to be different, I'm gonna say Mr. Kinney at the beginning when he's killed by Ed 209. Like that shit.
Come on, dude.
Yes.
Don't show it again. No, he's dead, Ed.
Yeah.
He's dead.
It sets the tone. It sets the tone for the movie, and it's absolutely fucking disturbing. And it like there's so much that's said in that one scene without being said. Like I fucking love that
Dude,
part. Like it is amazing.
Gibbs, thank you for joining us
Beautiful.
for this episode. You were amazing, and I want to leave us all with our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
In publishing news, Magic Johnson has received a $5 million advance from Random House for his new book entitled What You Can Do to Avoid AIDS. Chapter 1, Don't Have Sex with Me.